know, right?
All right. Looks like, oh, jeez, I can hear myself. Hold
I
on.
can do.
Is that what I sound like?
Oh my God! Is that what I look like? Chase! Have I been posing like this whole time?
Is that what I sound like? Oh well. There she is. Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Leah!
Hi, Leah.
Hey, Leah.
Hi.
Leah, I've got to DM you something on Discord.
Lauren DM'd me, and I was like, I'm proud of you, baby.
But you know what? Because I'm the DM, that's why.
You're not the DM here, babe.
No, you're not the DM here. Speaking of which, is your campaign tomorrow?
Yes.
I can actually fucking make that one.
Ooh.
Which is fun because we're starting the Thieves Guild mission tomorrow.
Yes.
Izzy's been dog sitting, apparently.
Yep. Sweet puppy.
All right. All right, I can no longer hear myself, so that's good.
I can hear you.
Yeah, but that's not the point. It's a technical issue. Who cares if you can
Yay,
hear me or not? You
Lauren.
live with me.
You can hear me!
I can hear you from the office.
Yeah.
Echo.
Great beyond. Sorry.
Yeah?
All right, so it is now
Fuck
7.
you, Lord.
All right, well, as always, hello everyone. Welcome back to a next exciting chapter of the Song of the Wilds Dungeons & Dragons campaign. We are a little short on people. So most of our players are running a little late, so we're going to try and buy time with announcements and whatnot. As always, I am Evan. I am your humble DM, and these all are my players. Some are playing with us. Some are just kind of sitting in and being Statler and Waldorf as we make fools of ourselves. But yeah, like I said, we are missing a couple people. Some people are running late, so we're just going to try and buy time until they get here. We are now officially at chapter 30 frickin' 5, and we have an Izzy!
Yay.
Izzy! Your Raven cosplay was awesome.
It's true.
We cannot hear her.
Yeah.
She's still working on getting
Yeah, she's
Connecting audio. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry.
There we go.
I had to connect. McLean was using my headphones, so I had to reconnect them to my computer.
Yeah.
I was just saying your Raven cosplay was awesome.
Thanks.
It was pretty cool.
All right, so we now have one more person joining us. As I was saying, Evan, DM, Song of the Wilds. These are my players. I love them all. Some playing, some watching and making jokes about us in our Discord server and such.
Or like me, playing and making jokes.
Oh, yeah, indeed.
Me playing part-time, making jokes full-time.
Yeah.
That being said, though, I, as always, will open up the floor to some announcements and such. Normally, I know last time I said I wanted us to try to power through announcements and just try to focus on, like, important and or new stuff, but considering we're still waiting on people, you can do whatever announcements you want to kind of buy time.
Long-winded story
Oh, no.
about...
About how my life got turned upside down.
As was the style at the time.
Yes, I got the face palm. I got my one face palm of the day.
All right,
I
well,
succeeded as boyfriend.
So, today, let me tell you guys what happened. So, I woke up, I had breakfast.
Oh, God.
Anyways, so
Evan's prophetic vision into married life.
Hold on, I lost my train of thought.
Kirby, I can see the future. Kirby, it's not pretty.
It's not pretty.
Hold on, I lost my train of thought, so now I gotta start over.
No! God, it's like
if
we're
anyone wants 5% off a really great coffee, Brad, you can go to my link tree, which is in my bio on Instagram, Josh__Human, and get yourself 5% off any merchandise from Player One Coffee.
God, Carly, it's like we're listening to music in the car and you have to endlessly restart the song because you're thinking, like, wait, no, I have to restart the song. It's not synchronized with my imagination.
Oh my god.
Don't
I was when you said that, and I was like you just like pinpointed my personality.
Dude, you did it. You broke Carly down to her base essentials.
See, that's gonna be me with whatever girl I get engaged to.
And it will happen, dude. It will happen.
Thank you.
I do have a more legit announcement before we get started. More of a fun thing. I am now operating with a brand new Yeti Nano mic, which apparently is working a lot better than my original Yeti mic. For some reason, in my old mic, the headphone jack was not working as well anymore, so I needed something new. I'm also using new streaming software, one that should hopefully get us give us a smoother stream. So hopefully that works out. And in kind of celebration of that, starting sometime this week, I'm going to be restarting my solo streams where I do just like Let's Plays and whatnot.
And I'll be sitting in on one of them when he plays one of my favorite video games I like to watch, but I'm terrible at playing.
You're not terrible. You just need to have a little patience to read the frickin' tutorial boxes.
Carly, I feel you. I feel you.
But yeah, one of those episodes we will be doing episode Ignis of Final Fantasy 15. That will be one that Carly sits in on.
Because Ignis is bae.
And I will also be bringing back my Jet Force Gemini Let's Plays for my YouTube channel because I want to actually finally beat that game after 20 or so years. So that's all from me. Does anyone else have any other little announcements?
I have an announcement. My Discord server, my collaborative chaos Discord server, has reached over 50 members over the past three months. I think we've been open. Yeah, I think since October. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's fun. You play Among Us and Jackbox there, and it's fun.
Yeah, it's pretty fun, and you get to like collab on photo shoots and different cosplays. I'm working on like 3 at the moment with that server.
I only have 2 at the moment. Wait, no, I do have 3 at the moment. Okay, yep, that's right.
I have 3. I have the Princess PJs, the villains, like I don't remember who the artist is. Please.
Sunset.
Yes, that one. The sunset gowns.
Yes.
I bet it's actually fun because I'm getting to like offer my voice acting services to like cosplayers who are my mutuals on TikTok. Where I'm just like. Where it's just like one cosplayer I know is doing like a Lenore from Castlevania, and I was like, if you want me to do a Hector PogChamp audio, I will totally do that for you. So
I do not like the words that just came out of your mouth.
And then I do have the Disney bounding one, which is gonna be really fun because we're doing that in July, and I already have that outfit. So I don't even have to worry about it.
Boundin' is in the short film.
Bounding.
Oh.
Like kind of like a casual summer outfit. Like I'm doing Aurora, and the shirt is like a corset shirt, and then it's like a cute like gray like short skirt. It's gonna be adorable.
Basically, Disney bounding is cosplaying as a Disney character while not cosplaying as a character.
It's a lot of people do in Disney World because you're not allowed at a certain age to dress up like a character because they're scared that kids are gonna run up to you and
take away their promotion.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But you can dress up in a style that is very aesthetically inspired by a character, and that is allowed.
One of my friends does that a lot.
I love Disney bounding. I think it's fun.
Might try to do that in May. We'll see.
Alrighty. Does anyone else have any other little announcements?
I've been using the D&D cookbook a lot and been using a lot of the recipes in it, and it's been amazing.
The D&D cookbook is an amazing thing that we got for Christmas.
From somebody that loves us very much, and he's in this stream right over there.
I have done the Travelers Stew.
Say hi.
I've done the.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
This is T. They're gonna be walking away, so I'm sorry to interrupt because they wanted to say hi.
But yeah,
and now they're gone.
But now they're gone. But yeah, the D&D cookbook's an amazing thing. I've done the Traveler's Stew, which is great. I've done the chili that's in it, which is also good. I've been nomming on the halfling cookies, which are also
Got to ask how are those.
and the elven bread is actually really good. I have yet to perfect it, but I did a really good job for our first go around. I sent a picture of it to my stepdad and my mom, who my stepdad actually makes a lot of bread, and he's like, that actually looks really good. That's the first time, and I'm like, yeah, that's the first time I've ever made bread too. So
Nice.
Nice.
So I'm going to try to perfect it some
Very
more,
nice.
but I highly recommend buying the book Heroes Feast. It is great.
Not
Oh my God.
not a sponsor unless you want to
No.
be D&D Beyond.
I actually tried to get D&D Beyond to be a sponsor, but they can't yet. But they said that they would notify me as soon as they're able to do so.
Why do they say they can't yet? Oh boy.
I think it's something to do like with their relation, like D&D Beyond's relationship with Wizards of the Coast, and like how they haven't been able to like make it so they can sponsor people yet. Since D&D Beyond is not officially D&D, but it's an affiliate.
It's a licensee. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a licensing thing. So, but again, you can go to my profile link on Instagram and get yourself 5% off any of your orders from Player One, who does sponsor me. So that's my spiel.
Alrighty. Are there any other little announcements before we get started?
I made it to over 100,000 likes on TikTok.
Woo!
Dude, nice.
Oh, kind of an announcement, but we don't know. We think Gilligan might be a little sick.
Oh no.
Yeah. He got sick the other day in my room a couple times, and he's been doing that a lot. And speaking of the monster. The orange man.
Oh.
Announcement. Kara, you left your fucking shirt here.
I fucking figured I did.
Oh, why?
Something.
What? Where did you leave?
She slept over on New Year's Eve and left her Christmas present here.
Ah, fuck! Okay, well.
Good job, babe.
Nice job.
At some point, I'll have to get it.
Alright, are there any other little announcements before we get started?
For me.
It says my internet connection is unstable. That's not good.
Yeah,
Oh,
I got a
no.
little choppy there for a second.
Oh dear.
But I'm currently hosting and sharing your
I'm hosting right now, so we're Gucci so far.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's certainly good. Oh dear, that actually reminds me.
Revolution.
Yeah, unfortunately, because of this new software, which I'm still kind of playing around with right now, I lost a couple, like, little thingies that went with it. So yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to get any alerts of hosting or new followers or whatnot. Oh well. This will most likely change for next stream, but at least we still have a connection. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, with that...
I'm hosting now too, by the way.
Okay. Thank you.
Boom.
Huh, yeah, I do have hosting alerts on. I wonder why it's not working. If you guys are watching my stream, how does it look? Is it looking horrible or just choppy or normal? Like,
No, it's fine.
No, it doesn't look horrible.
Interesting.
It looks fine. I just think. Were you using like Stream Element, like the Stream Elements, like live stream thing?
I was originally using Streamlabs OBS like forever.
Yeah, that's the one that Twitch affiliates itself with, which is why it's usually a smoother transition between the two, because that's actually affiliated with Twitch.
Yeah, but now I'm actually trying to use now I'm actually using just normal OBS because for some reason Streamlabs wouldn't let me record as well as stream, like it ran into some kind of error. So I thought maybe if I use a different software it would work, but apparently not. I'm still running into the same issue. It's all right. There's always the backup plan since this is successfully able to get on Twitch. Once the episode's over, I'll just download it off of Twitch and upload that to YouTube. So yeah, there's always a backup plan. Anywho, if that is all for announcements, last call for announcements.
Let's do this damn thing.
All right, let's do this damn thing. I hope you all took notes. That being said, let us...
No.
I did.
Okay. Well then, with that being said, let us continue with The Song of the Wilds, Chapter 35, More Investigating. Where we last left off our intrepid group of hunter warriors known as D. They decided to do a little bit more investigating of the mysterious magical organization that has decided to essentially take over the war efforts partially from the Greyblades, known as the Sanctum. After some hard investigative work, they were actually able to get into the palace. Arios had a little interaction with something that brought up some bad memories here or there. However, it was at the palace that they were able to get into the rented space that the Sanctum was using for all of their experiments, and they ran into a couple acolyte wizards that were running some necromancy experiments. And apparently, the prime experiment they were working on is how to enslave undead savage beasts. And while they look like they have been making some progress, it looks like the science isn't exactly perfected yet. However, it was there that they learned that the Sanctum holds a major stronghold that could very well be their main headquarters in the far, I believe it was eastern? It was eastern or northern, it was either one of those, but it was a far-off city called Tristram.
I was about to say, I don't have, like, the direction. I just have that it was called Tristan.
That's
I know what we're getting next time we visit a merchant. A compass.
Yeah.
Or a big map. Like a big map.
A very big
Atlas.
map. Alright. And that being said, with that new information, our team, while still in the magical keep of the Sanctum, decides to hatch their next plan to do some more investigations. And that is where we leave off. If I can find the... Here it is. So, Group D. You still find yourself standing in the steepled keep of the royal palace of King Gahoon. This keep, like last time as I described, has been loaned to the acolytes of the Sanctum where they can conduct their magical research. And it was also here that you met up with a parrot Arakakwa, who seemed to be some kind of overseer to the acolytes, who gave some information as to their hierarchy of their organization, and where you might find some more higher position people in the city of Tristram, where they seem to have a much larger presence than here in Acheron. That being said, Group D and Count Marcus, what do you do?
Alright, so the Arakakwa is not in the room with us right now.
The Arakakwa is in the room, but because you guys did some high rolls, you were able to actually get some information out of him.
Okay. Davina, as our note keeper, what do you think we should do next?
Well, I remember that we were talking about either basically going to talk to Malakin, who works very familiarly with the king.
Right.
So what are your guys' stances with that?
I suppose it's as good a place as any to start.
Marcus, what do you...
Well, I think that's just follow breadcrumbs. I'll each lead. See what happens.
I also think it's really interesting that they've had half of...
Evan, you might need to turn yourself down a little.
Yeah, Evan.
The
music's overpowering.
Background music's overpowering.
Yeah, wow, sorry, I had no idea.
It's cool. It's cool.
Trying. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm still learning this new software.
I get you.
Alright.
Okay.
Continue, Davina.
I also think it's weird that they've taken half of our missions and they've completed all of them. Like, they must have a lot of people if they're taking half of them.
Well, I've suspected 12 from the beginning.
I would just keep that in mind, because that just seems odd to me.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose visiting this guy is probably the first place we should go then.
Yeah, I agree. Let's, like I said, follow one breadcrumb trail after another until we come across something that may be a little dangerous. All right, who can arrange a meeting?
Can arrange a meeting with the king. Are we trying to arrange a meeting with the king, or are we trying to arrange a meeting with Malakin?
Malakin.
I thought it was Malakin.
Yeah, Malakin.
Is Malakin here now, Mr. DM, or is he with the
You can ask.
Check. Oh yeah, ask the bird.
Okay. I walked up to the bird dude. I don't have his name written down. I must have not thought he was that important. Sorry.
Don't assume things.
Carl! I did write down his name.
Oh my god, that's right, I did name him Carl.
You're making Carl jokes.
That kills people. Oh, my bad. I did not know that.
I don't think he's here, Jimmy.
We named because he was a tabby tabaxi named Billy Deacon. So I walk up to Carl and I ask, well, is Mr. Malakin here?
The parent Arakakwa, who is surprisingly the same height as Davina, just kind of looks over to you with his weird side eye, because parrots have eyes on the sides of their heads.
I hate that.
Yeah, it's very unnerving.
Considering Davina, I'm like imagining this big bird with a parrot face.
Yeah. Look at you! I can't not look at you!
I see your face and my butt.
At the same time.
Such a dumb concept. Anywho, the parrot man kind of looks at you for a moment, and he just goes, that's a very good question. Give me a moment. And he just kind of like flips through some pages right now. Ah, I see. According to my schedule here, it looks like Malakan himself is actually having a personal meeting with the king himself. So it looks like he is here, though I highly doubt anyone will be able to see him during this time.
What are they exactly in this vicinity, if you don't mind me asking?
That would be the Royal Suite. The Royal Suite is located about 3 floors above in the very center of the palace.
I look over at Count Marcus and I say, theoretically, could you get us in there?
Marcus thinks for a second. DM, do you think he can get us in there?
You can certainly head over there and try your luck. I'm not going to give you the answer. You're going to have to work for it.
Or could perhaps Mistral get us in?
Could I get us in?
I don't know, you tell me.
Oh, yeah, because no one really knows, like, except for Davina, that you're royalty right now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Alright. Well, we have a plan.
I mean, Arios could also, try sneaking in as a servant.
Here's an idea. Why don't all 3 of you try to get us in at the same time?
You know what?
Wait a minute. Davina could also try to get in there by saying, I was going to try to talk to the king about maybe a business venture.
You could pull the business venture card, or we could just pull the truth out, being like, we're investigating.
Good a plan as any we've got right now.
At this point, we just...
Plan.
Alright, we have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D. Sounds good.
So we're ready.
Might as well just knock them through.
One of those has to work.
Yeah.
We have A through W, X, Y, and Z have not been formulated yet.
And you all roll 1 through 5s on all of them.
We're armed for a reason. Plan Z.
I say we start with the Davina and the plan, whatever.
I say we start with the truth plan.
All right.
That's me.
I will be the arbiter of the truth. That I could live by the sword, die by the sword of the truth. I could at least request an audience with either the king or with Malakan.
I mean, he is a count. I think that's our best option.
Would Marcus know kind of the main contacts of the king as far as, like, say, go request an audience to the Grand Vizier or request an audience. We need to know the channels to go through.
Roll me a history check to see if you recall that kind of information based on your personal history.
My first roll was hot. Okay, let's see what happened. History?
History.
15.
15?
That's not bad.
All right.
-1.
All right. You recall that when it comes to meeting with someone of such a high position as the king, and there's only ever been one king of all of civilization itself, to meet with the king, you would need to seek out the royal page. The page would act as the middleman and is one of the few people that can walk into the royal suite, which is also like the throne room of the king himself. He would basically give a breakdown of who you are and a brief summary of your purpose for wanting to speak with the king, and then the king will essentially just say yes or no, and then the page has to run all the way from the king to you and let you know if you're able to come in or to get the F out.
We could pull out the truth and say, hey.
Get the fuck out of my room, I'm playing Minecraft.
We could always say, hey, we're here on an internal affairs investigation. We have figured out the means they have to win the war.
We're with
We'd
OSHA.
like it. We'd like an audience.
Or we could say that we're with OSHA.
Yeah.
OSHA.
That's plan E.
Yeah, that's plan E.
Plan E.
Or,
At the very least, we want both Malakon and the king in one room, right? Or just one or the other? Because if we just have just the king, I don't know what we're going to say. We're going to be like, oh, we found out, hey, your potential second employer wants to pull out an apocalypse stone. They want to they want to solve ants with a hot lava volcano.
So who are we wanting to meet with in the end? Are we wanting Malakon or are we wanting the king? So
Malakon in the end.
Don't we try to find where Malakon is?
Or we could just wait for the lead. We could play the waiting game. State and just be like, we could either go up to the page, say, hey, we'd like an audience with Malakon. Can he meet with us after his meeting with the king? Make it easier that way. Or if we want to just muscle it, we just wait at the entrance. Wait at the entrance to the room.
I mean,
we already have badges.
A long wait.
It could be a long wait.
I say let's just try to meet him now, and if that doesn't work, we'll try something else.
Yeah, at the very least, we could just walk up to the page, say, hey, how long are they going for? Can Malakon meet with us afterwards?
As long as we play this all smart, we should be fine.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So, do you guys have a basic idea of what you're going to be doing?
I guess.
All right. All right. So, with that being said, you, for the sake of expediency, will say that you make your way out of the Sanctum's keep of the palace. You're given a very let me ask you this. Who would you say is taking the lead for Plan A in this situation? Who thought of Plan A?
Don't let Marcus. Like I realize in D&D Beyond I may be metagaming this, but like he is okay at telling the truth. He is far better at bullshit. So if it's
you were the one that wanted the truth. I said we should just go in there.
Hold on, this was your plan all along.
I know this was my plan all along, but you know it was less about my skill set and more about the whole Occam's razor thing. You know, simplest task, simplest explanation, simplest result. Besides, I don't live here. Y'all live here. Y'all have been working here.
I just work here.
Do y'all have a person that is far more diplomatic? I'm diplomatic, sure, but
Davina, do you want to take the front of this one?
Sure.
You know the plan, Davina.
All right, so we're going in there, and we're just gonna be like, we would like to schedule a audience with.
Well, now, hold on a moment. Let's not move too quickly. So, Davina, we're saying, Davina's plan is Plan A. So, Davina, I would like you to roll an overall charisma check.
Okay.
Can I just say that Evan just pulled a Count Marcus there at the very beginning? Very much sounded like, now, hold on there. Now, hold on there. Are we sure about this?
Don't you just hate that song?
Oh God! If I ever lose my voice, I know who's playing backup.
So
I'm my backup player now.
So Davina, roll me just a general charisma check.
10.
10. All right. That just makes the DC.
Oh, thank God.
Because, Davina, since you're kind of more or less taking the lead on this one, because your plan is Plan A, with all of the other brilliant schemes that you guys have concocted, you ask for general directions from the guards that are just kind of stationed in specific points. They don't really escort you in a sense. They all seem to be kind of busy vibing like in their own little nightly way and such. But they do just kind of point and give you an idea. And you literally are following knights like breadcrumbs from spot to spot until you finally are able to make it up 3 whole floors. And on the 3rd floor before you is this massive golden ornate set of golden double doors before you, and you can pretty well tell that this is the entrance to King Gahoon's throne room and suite.
King Dodongos. He doesn't like smoke.
That being said, though, I'm so happy to bring this character, give him a little cameo. He's someone from the book that I'm writing. Carly will know who he is, and Josh, you might know who he is if you've been writing. Walking up to you from the doors is what looks like a child. He looks like a tiny little child, or he could be a gnome, or he could just be a very short human. You don't know, but he seems to be dressed in the style of Napoleon. And he just kind of like waddles up to you. I want you all to imagine Ramon Salazar from Resident Evil 4. That's basically who this kid looks like. Josh knows who I'm talking about.
Which reminds me, Evan, I finally found out who Anne-Marie is based on because I played Final Fantasy XIV.
Who is she based on?
What's her name? Polymere or something like that? Or the girl you meet up with at the beginning of the game who's running the whole guild.
Which guild? There's 3
There's
of them.
multitudes.
The adventurers.
Oh. Well, maybe I don't then. I don't know.
You're fine. By the way, we need to talk FF14 when we're done here. Anywho, this little kid or dwarf or midget or gnome, you can't tell. He just seems as short. He just kind of walks up to you with this big fake-ass smile, and he just goes, "Ah, visitors. Wonderful. How may we assist you today?"
We are looking to talk to King Gahoon about a business venture.
A business venture. All right. And who, may I ask, is here to address the king?
I am Davina Belmaris, and I gesture to the rest of the crew, is my entourage. Sure.
All right.
We'll go with that.
All right. Considering that you dropped the name Balmaris, Carly, I would like you to roll a persuasion check with advantage.
Okay.
Because the Balmaris name does carry weight.
Persuasion. Sorry, I'm like really bad at this today. I don't know why. Give me a 1 second, okay? Okay, we're gonna go with that. I got a 19.
A 19. All right. At the mention of Balmaris, the little page, his eyes widen. He goes, "Oh, Lady Balmaris, it is so good to see you. Again, we are terribly sorry for the terrible loss of your husband and your father-in-law."
Oh, no, it's awful. It's truly heartbreaking.
Oh my God.
Just awful.
Doing your girl.
Never mind. Coco's like, wait, never mind.
A perception check from Reginald.
Reginald.
No, that's a 5, so never mind. Coco's safe. Reginald, by the way, his name is Reginald. His eyes wide, he goes like, "Oh, just a moment, please. and he walks right up to the double doors, puts his hand to it, and he opens a much smaller door inside the giant doors. It's like Disney logic.
I look over to Atarax and I say, was that a child?
It was humanoid.
I'm gonna play my card safe here. It was humanoid.
I'm gonna assume adults.
Use the doggy door.
He's either an adult or a really young intern.
It's like in that Mega Man sequelitis. And who is this person?
Idea. What?
Who is this construct? This abstract idea. Anywho, so you guys have been left alone for a little bit. I'm actually going to do a quick roll here for Reginald.
I just love that name, Reginald.
Reggie, what's up?
Okay, when I wrote this character for my book, and he will make an appearance in the Discord, I wanted like the most snooty sounding little like colonial name ever. Reginald.
Reginald.
And he will make an appearance in the Discord, and I cannot wait to play him.
And I hate him.
Oh, yeah.
Arios is totally calling him Reggie. I'm just letting you know that.
That's what I just said. I was like, I really want to call him Reggie.
Anywho,
happy we're on the same page. There we go.
Okay, so Reginald rolled a 15. So after what feels like only like 3 minutes or so, the tiny little doggy door of the giant doors opens once again, and you see Reginald just kind of strut out. And this guy is wearing like it's again, I just want to stress, this guy's wearing a mix of like Napoleon and or like Revolutionary War attire. He's got like the long knee-high socks, the little black shoes. He's got like a little like Patriot soldier hat or something. This guy's a little red coat.
A little Fauntleroy, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He walks up to you, gives you all a big smile, suddenly looks to Davina. I have wonderful news, Lady Balmaris. King Gahoon is willing to see you all. However, he still needs to finish his meeting with Lord Malekith of the Sanctum. So if you all are willing to wait just a little bit longer, the king will see you.
I think we're going to need to.
I think that's totally fine.
With that, Reginald just kind of gives you all a very polite nod and a smile to each of you individually.
I guess that beats meeting Farrakhan, or whatever his name is.
Malakon.
Wait, are we gonna meet with Malakon, or were we gonna meet with the king?
I guess we're meeting with the king, so there's no going back on this one.
I mean, we could split into 2 groups.
Carly, remember you said you wanted to meet the king with a business venture. So that's what Reginald told the king.
Well done, Davina.
I think I'm planning out a business venture.
We want to talk to you about some sketchy shit going on with your people. Like, what was I supposed to say?
We were going to meet with Malakon instead.
Consequences.
Okay. We can divide and conquer this. This is a large group. How well can you bullshit the king, Davina?
Oh, I can talk his ear off.
Okay.
I'll stay with Davina because I think she's going to need all the swindling help she can get.
On top of that, you might have to actually pull in your bankroll because you might have to put your money where your mouth is, and whatever business venture you pull out of your ass, you might actually have to start.
It's okay. Actually, I have a way to
textiles.
Work.
If you're gonna pull textiles out of your ass, you better have some contacts because we might actually have to start making some cloth.
How about we take this time to go somewhere and plan out what exactly Davina is going to say to the king?
Yeah.
Here's what. Would you like, Davina? Would you like me to support you in this venture, or would you like me to lead a team to talk to Malakon?
I think it'd be really smart if we split up and.
Yeah, and I think you should meet with Malakon. So.
Oh boy! All right, I'll definitely do that. Okay.
I was gonna say, are you not ready for them?
No, I'm ready. Here's the thing. I don't like assholes. I don't know what the rating of the stream is.
Why did you say that so meekly?
Eden, why don't you go?
I know. I'm sure I said it meekly. It's like, we've implied freaky stuff, but the language. What's our rating on the stream?
We literally have said fuck like a whole bunch of times.
Okay, all right. Let me retcon Marcus. I don't like presumptuous assholes that love necromancy. Now, quite frankly, based on what we've seen, this guy wants to smash an anthill with gasoline, a fire, and 5 fireball spells. Not only is it a bit
nice music stinger.
Not only is that a bit overkill, it also might fry everyone else, including us.
And we cut to a flashback of him actually doing it with this music.
That sounded like a Family Guy cutaway when he did it like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so sorry. Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh my god.
Liam.
Yeah.
I sent you a DM.
Speaking of Family Guy quotes, he just became Pussy Got Him.
What the heck is going on?
I just hear
Hold on.
Did I just hear what I heard?
Yeah,
Yes.
everybody quiet. My song is on.
I don't know why today of all days I'm having like so many issues right now.
I am the concern.
You're a bit concerned. I'm greatly concerned.
I am the concern.
Might I suggest, if Marcus is going to have this much trouble talking,
What happened?
No, not trouble. Not trouble. It's just.
But might I suggest, Eden, you go with him?
Eden, why don't you go with me?
Do I have to?
You want to talk to the king? Go for it.
Well, I don't think Mistral is going to want to go with him.
You don't know that?
I'm happy that works for you, Liam. I have a plan.
What?
Nothing, because Liam's gonna be in the room with me and the king. I got a plan.
Maybe if Marcus doesn't want to talk to assholes,
I'm gonna talk to assholes.
That is exactly what Arios has done for
Arios, and you
entire
go,
life.
Marcus.
Yeah.
You back him up.
You back me up. You back me up, boy.
Atarax, why don't you go with them as well? You're a friendly fellow.
I try to be. That's fine with me.
Awesome.
Probably
Good
use a friendly
good cop, bad cop, slack cop. I like this. We're gonna make it good.
Coco, where do you want to go? You're kind of a wild card.
Well, I'm looking at myself. I have nothing to help with Davina and Polo, so I guess I'm going with Count Marcus.
All right.
And Mistral, I would assume that you would rather just go with us and be in the background.
Okay.
Always a pleasure.
I love that, although the king might recognize Mistral, you never know.
Yeah, you know.
In that case, it might be a good idea for us to bring her with us.
Actually, that is good. That is a good idea because it could be like, oh, you know of her. She's another one of my business partners.
You might be the trump card we need, High Elf.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, if you think it'll help.
It's decided you're coming with us, Mistral.
Oh.
And Davina just links. Okay, and I'd like to think that Polo and Davina just link arms with me.
Yeah, we just grab her and pull her up. Her
not really sure where this is gonna go. Like you guys are just playing like it might work. We don't know your backstory.
I just imagine us holding her up and her legs are like flailing as we're like carrying her along.
I'm that much shorter than you.
I was gonna say I thought Mistral was like
but...
5'9".
Well, Mistral's like 6 foot. So
really? I was gonna say Mistral's tall. I thought.
Oh wow! Okay, this whole time I never thought that. Okay,
Mistral tall. Yeah. This ain't no Santa elf running in between your legs.
Oh, Santa elf! Somebody put that in the quotes.
I just always imagined Mistral's really tiny. I'm sorry, I didn't.
Mistral is of the
not this way.
Mistral is of the clan of Keebler.
Alright then.
Oh my
no, that's Talia.
And there's like 3 apostrophes and too many E's in that name.
Keebler.
Keebler.
And then there are those northern elves that are hearty and really good at doing woodcraft up north.
Tonight we ride to Keebler.
The Keeblers.
Okay,
Go on the
so
false raid.
All right,
Keebler
so-
will answer.
okay, so
Team A is Davina, myself, Coco, and Eden, and Mistral. Team B is Marcus, Arios, and Atarax.
and
Oh yeah.
and just to keep it straight, what are each team's goals?
Oh no, Coco's going with Marcus.
Oh,
I
sorry.
was gonna say,
Okay.
yep.
I
Do you
actually
mind writing this down?
my own
Okay.
personal
You have your own agenda?
yeah.
Okay.
Davina has told me her plan, and it sounds fine to me, and I think it should work fine.
Okay. So Davina, pull whatever the fuck you want out of your ass. As long as you're in the king's good graces, as long as he trusts you closely, because if we're gonna have to pull the fact that we're questioning his humanoid resource decisions, you might not like it that much. So
Here's the thing: is
humanoid
that
resources.
I have a contingency plan.
Okay.
It doesn't come to.
All right.
I'm not saying anything about it because I really hope it doesn't go there.
All right. And so our plan, we will try to, as Malakon will leave, ask him for a word and get better information on what they intend to do with their big old necromancy project.
All right.
If we feel something shady on our end, we know what's up. I will do my best not to be antagonistic, but I have a little crow boy's head over my shoulder, really not liking this guy.
By the way, I would like to thank Leah for putting in the chat the teams. You're appreciated. Because I did not write that down, and I should have.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Arios.
All right, cool.
All right.
All right. So, is everyone ready?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
As ready as I'll ever be.
One last thing. What exactly are we trying to ask?
We're trying to get more information about their necromancy project and what they're trying to what they're really trying to do here. We are being as straight arrowed as we can be, all things considered. We're just trying to get answers.
Okay.
If he seems shady, we know what's up. If, like I said, we're just info gathering. Trying to use as least amount of bullshit as possible, despite the fact that bullshit is one thing we're all good at.
Atarax, you want to take?
What? Yes. What? Can I help you?
Okay, let's go.
I'll take point. I'll have Atarax be there as moral support.
So, do you guys have an idea what you're doing?
Yep.
Okay. Final call. Do you guys have it straight?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That is straight as none of us are.
Davina has her
not
plan
making
written
me
down
feel
for me, which makes it
confident.
easier.
Yeah, I DM'd both Izzy and Polo. I'll DM Lauren.
You mean?
I'm not part of your team.
Do you mean Kira?
Me?
Oh, I'm sorry. I got the. Wow, I am not here today. That is on me.
Wow, so rude. I see how it is.
You got messaged. What are you talking about?
No, I was saying it for Kira.
Yeah.
You look like you're eating something, so I just you know. Yeah, you were eating. I just wanted to be your
I
voice.
thought they were saying Coco was with us. That's my bad. I misunderstood the entire thing, but now I'm back.
Thank you.
All right. Are we all ready?
Yes.
All right. The massive golden doors slowly swing open. And as they open, you are greeted with the sight of a massive, ornate room of gold, crimson, and ivory. And this is the throne room suite of King Gahoon. Already, the first thing that you see is this very, very regal-looking drow in blue and purple robes who is walking slowly towards you out of the room. past him, you can see the giant, massive frame that is Gahun himself sitting on the throne. Based on what you've seen from the original giant announcement that addressed all of Acheron, this is Grandmaster Malakon of the Sanctum. However, as he's moving out of the room, he doesn't seem to notice you. He is just already starting to walk past you.
I'm sorry, Your Majesty.
Who are you addressing?
The king.
Well, you have an audience.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have an audience. I think it's more of like, wait your turn. I'll take.
I gotta go home. I'm so tired.
You're already home.
You're home.
You couldn't be more home.
So how
You're literally on your couch.
is Malakon about to pass the party up?
Yeah, Malakon is like just starting to walk past all of you guys.
Okay.
So if you want to address him, you got to work quickly.
I want to do something real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. So I interrupt Master Malakon and I say, "Excuse me. Are you Master Malakon?"
Roll me a persuasion check.
Persuasion. Okay. 14.
The drow stops.
Okay.
And he slowly looks over to you, and he's like looking down his nose. This guy's like pretty freakishly tall. He just goes, "Yes?"
I'm so sorry to bother you, my lord. Good Count Marcus, I believe this is the gentleman you wish to speak to, is it not?
No, yes it is. Yes it is. Lord Malakon, a word if you would give us a moment.
Count Marcus, roll a persuasion check.
And as he says this, Marcus is actually starting to approach, like, stride towards him.
All right. Doesn't change the fact you have to roll persuasion.
I know. 17?
Oh, well.
All right, 17 makes it. You have Malakon's attention, but he doesn't fully turn towards you. Only his head seems to be facing you, and he just kind of looks at you with the same, like, over-the-nose kind of disdain that he seemed to give Polo. And he just goes, "And what do you wish to speak with
Mr.
about,
Potter?"
Mr. Potter?
Well, I know you were on your way, so let's just...
I'll leave you two to it and go help Lady Davina.
Oh, thank you, my lord.
Okay, at that point, because you actually did it pretty smoothly, you don't need to roll for this. The group, I can't believe I have to say this phrase, but the party successfully splits.
Somebody clip that. Somebody clip that.
Y'all gonna die.
There's two things you never split: bowling pins and D&D parties.
Yeah, but the party successfully splits. I was hoping someone would notice that what you all were planning before I had to make it bluntly clear to you all. But the party splits. 4 of you are staying here addressing Grandmaster Malakon just outside of the Royal Throne Room suite, whereas the other 4 are now actually walking into the throne room seat. We are going to just take the camera off of the people talking to Malakon for a moment. Group is it? We'll see you as Team A. Team A. Team A.
DA.
Group Tits and Ass is...
The party. The party.
We'll be...
So yeah, Team A is walking... Oh my god, Josh, the GIF you posted. That is basically Gahun, but he is much more clothed, but he has that same swagger. All of you walk up to... You're now actually seeing Gahun a little more close up than you would like. For a Goliath, this guy is big. Like, clearly...
I broke Izzy. She is like dying right now.
This guy is big. Clearly not as big as Grandmaster Volthric, but he seems like he would definitely give Volthric a run for his money in terms of overall, like, height, weight, girth, like, all those things.
I'm just
Oh
imagining.
my.
I'm imagining Orson Welles.
No. If anything, I would like you to imagine a Dave Bautista who's 3 times bigger.
Okay.
Wow.
Dave Bautista with a Super Mario mushroom. Got it.
So basically how he looks. So basically, imagine how he looks in Dune coming soon. You've all seen the trailers, I'm assuming. A very gray-skinned Dave Bautista. That's basically what Goliaths are. They're gray-skinned. Anywho, King Gahoon, he's just sitting in his throne, and I would like Davina, Polo, Mistral, and Eden. Again, Leah, thank you for posting the teams in the Discord. I needed this. Davina, Polo, Mistral, and Eden, I would like you all to throw me charisma saving throws.
Out of the dice. Shit.
Do I want to know?
Davina, what did you roll?
I rolled a 3.
Oh.
Whoa.
All right, we'll get back to that.
My favorite.
Polo,
I got
Mistral, and Eden, what did you guys roll?
Hold on, I need to add numbers.
I got a 19.
Okay.
I got an 8.
So
22.
An 8 and a 4.
No. 22.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Put a dice. You need to buy a dice jail. Like
You need a dice jail.
I'll send you one, Carly.
All right. Eden and Mistral, you are the only ones who are bearing witness to just the overall, like, crushing presence that King Gahoon has. Like, even though he is a Goliath, and he is the king of basically all of civilization, there's just something about him that just seems to push down upon you. Like, this guy is not just large in size, but large in presence.
We fought gods. I don't.
Davina and Polo, you're not so much frozen, but you are, like, not the actual status ailment, but you are basically stunned by this guy's just overall entity.
I whisper to Polo, that's a really big dude.
Gahoon then slowly, like, stands up out of his throne. And, like, he walks down the steps from his chair, and you can actually feel the ground kind of vibrate a little with each step that he takes. Somewhere in the entire palace, a couple nobles are just talking, and one of them looks down to a glass of water, and they see the little shockwaves in the glass of water. Apparently, Count Marcus Adamar is posting the vocal version of Dave Bautista's entrance music.
Give me what I want! Give me what I want! Give me what I want!
Alright. King Gahoon looks over all of you, one at a time. And even though these looks only last like a couple seconds, for Davina and Polo, they feel like they last an eternity. Like he is looking directly into your soul. And Gahoon, he just kind of gives a little... So what is this business venture?
Music.
Are we allowed to talk, or are we still stunned?
You can talk, but if for Polo and Davina, if you want to try to make any deception or perception checks, you are going to roll at disadvantage.
Like, all right, well, okay. Here's the thing. So Davina walks in, and she's like, "Your Majesty," and she does like a little like curtsy.
I bow as well.
And she says, "I'd like to speak to you about what I'm planning on doing with the various Belmar's keeps. Since I am but one person and part of the Greyblades, I thought it would be wise, since they had many a child servant, to basically renovate them into orphanages.
King Gahoon just kind of looks up at you. Or looks down at you, but he's kind of like tilting his head up like,
Pathetic.
Right. To my core.
Like from where you guys are standing, this guy's literally the, like, I sent you a pic, answer me kind of image. That being said, however, because Davina, because what you basically told him was something that you actually do intend to do, in any other circumstance, I would have you roll with advantage because you are basically telling him the truth. However, because you're already rolling with disadvantage, just roll a straight persuasion roll.
Okay. Oh, that's better. I got an 18.
All right, awesome.
With disadvantage?
No, because she was telling the truth, I didn't have to do that.
The advantage and disadvantage canceled out each other, so it just became a straight roll.
Okay.
Because, again, Davina was essentially telling him the truth. That is something that she wants to do.
Right.
And this is Davina's, like, own vendetta. Like, this is something she actually was like, you know what, I might be able to do something with this.
The king, he doesn't react for a few seconds, and then you actually, before your very eyes, see his features of his face soften for a moment, and he looks a lot less intense. Davina and Polo, you no longer feel that suffocating pressure of fear coming from him, though that doesn't make the air any less thick of his presence. You're just now a little more used to it because he seems to be lightening up a little. Gahoon now actually kind of like bends his head to get a better look at you, Davina. He just goes, "You would do something so selflessly for those poor refuge children."
Well, to be completely honest with you, sir, I was one of those children. And that's something I would have wanted.
Gahoon. God damn it, Leah! Damn, the air is thick up in here.
You're welcome.
You took like a really powerful moment, Leah, and you just killed it.
Oh god, why is there Mr. Krabs booty here? Oh god. Okay, anywho. Davina, before your very eyes, Gahoon actually slowly gets down on one knee before you. And if anything, he's doing this just so he can be just a little bit more eye level with you. And you can now actually see his face. This guy, his face is full of what looks like recently removed tattoos. So there's still like some faint traces of like burn scars, but he's also got some battle scars on his face. Like, this guy looks like he went through the ringer 3 times. And yet his features are soft, and he seems to actually be taking some serious consideration of what it is that you're speaking about. He just kind of looks down in deep thought before turning back to you and just goes, "What happened to your family is a tragedy that has affected all of us in the higher circles. Though, with your vast fortune, I'm not sure what someone like me would be able to do to make things easier for you. I am your king, but those places are indeed your property. If it helps at all, I can certainly focus some of our taxed builders to help with renovations and such, if perhaps that might make things a little easier."
I was actually thinking more about protecting the grounds and possibly employing some of your soldiers, if you'd be willing, to help be the guards of the grounds.
Make a persuasion check. And will you all stop posting thick gifs in the Discord? Jeez.
Oh.
No, that's not us. What?
I got a 12 that time, hon.
A 12. Okay. The king's soft features stiffen just a little.
I think.
You can kind of tell that he is seriously thinking about it, but then he just kind of looks up at you and just goes, "Unfortunately, that is not exactly a request that I can grant. Our armies, as well as your Greyblades, unfortunately need to focus their powers against the war effort against the forces of the outside."
Then I'll accept your suggestion, and if you would be willing and able, some funds for renovation.
He slowly stands back up to full height, and now you guys are actually seeing him like right up to you. And this guy, like again, practically speaking, he doesn't seem as big as Volthric, but yet his overall commanding presence seems 10 times bigger than your boss for some reason. Why do I keep putting thick-ass people in my campaign?
Because we love that thick life.
Because damn, boy, you a thick boy.
I mean,
the thicker the better at cuddling. Come on, guys.
Exactly. Here I was thinking of like a Dragon Ball reference. It's like, oh, Vegeta, what's the scholar say about thickness level?
It's over.
And I won't.
I
There you
can't
go. I rest my
vouch
case.
for this. Evan gives the best cuddles. I'm just saying, I might be biased, but
I was going to do a bias, but yeah.
Bias opinion.
Oh, no. McLean definitely wins in that department. Have you ever nuzzled your neck in McLean's neck? No.
And it's here that we're going to debut our next show, Cuddle Swap. We're all just going to like switch significant others for like a day and just find out who's the best cuddler, and then all of our girlfriends are just going to meet and just have a meeting.
Excuse me, I have to snuggle with my significant other first.
And just out of safeness and cuteness, everyone has a uniform onesie to cuddle with.
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone's wearing one.
So there's no bias of like, oh, well, so and so is wearing a belt buckle that hurt my back.
I'll be wearing
naked. You know, it's no bias.
I'll be wearing my red panda onesie, so y'all can cuddle a red panda and like complete that dream.
I'll be wearing my shark.
John has a shark now. You need to wear
bought you that, Evan?
Thank you, Carly.
I technically have 2.
Okay, sorry. This is a tangent I started. I'm very sorry. That's on me. That's on me. Your DM is horrible.
We'll talk about it in the meeting afterwards. Let's continue.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
I approach Gahul.
Gahoon.
Sorry.
Gahul is the owl. Knights.
Yeah, the owl thing. Yeah. Zack Snyder.
Anyway. That's Gahoon's owl.
Yeah.
And it's a big ass owl.
It's a thick owl.
Okay, yes. Yes, Polo.
I approach the king and I say, "My king, may I please have ask a request for the security that Lady Davina was requesting?"
He just kind of looks at you for a moment, already with some slight disdain, because you just walked up to the king and started talking with him. He didn't address you first. That being said, though, he goes, "And what is it that you wish to speak of?"
Would it at all be possible for you to suggest to the Sanctum, perhaps a few of their members?
A very odd request. The Sanctum is just as tasked, as well as our military and the Greyblades, for the war effort. Why specifically the Sanctum?
Well, they appear to be experts Do they not? I think if this charity that Lady Balmaris is suggesting is that important, perhaps it would be a good idea to have the best of the best as security.
Make a persuasion check with him.
All right. 14.
The king looks at you for a moment and just goes, "If that is your request, I can certainly bring it up the next time Lord Malakon is next here to have his weekly meeting with me about his progress. If you wish to merely have this message given to him, I will make sure that it is, though I cannot promise if they would be as keen to follow up on it for you."
Many thanks for at least trying, my king.
That being said, though, he turns back to Davina, and he reaches into his long regal robe, and he pulls out what looks like a small medallion, and he hands it to you. And this medallion, it looks like a solid gold coin, but it is slightly bigger, and it has an ivory emblem of what looks like a dragon claw on it. When you get the chance, head down to the southeast keep. That is where we handle all affairs when it comes to our taxpayers' money, and that includes contractors and builders. Show them that, and they will be able to listen to whatever request that you give them. As long as you have that medallion, a request from you will be as a request from me.
I did a good thing, y'all.
That being now said, and now I gotta scroll up because of all the thick gifs you guys posted. We are now going to turn the camera back to Marcus, Arios, Atarax, and Coco, who is now. Oh, we lost Josh.
Oh no! Bye, Josh.
And I'm Lauren. No, I just gotta do something real quick, and I just figured my camera being off would probably be the best.
No problem. So we're now going to move the camera over to Marcus, Arios, Atarax, and Coco. You now all have Malakon's attention, though you were not sure for how long. How do you play this out?
Marcus will actually start just walking his way for a moment. First off, the pull him will lead him away from the freaking door, just in case.
All right.
Yeah, but also also to kind of reduce the disruption of his flow. It's like, look, I know you're on your way to do stuff, but a word. So he's gonna take the entourage with him and walk with Lord Malakon down the hall as he speaks.
I'm gonna cast Detect Good and Evil as we walk.
I'm my man. This is why you're here, man. This is why you're here.
Okay, so wait. So Malakon's not moving right now. You guys are like.
Okay.
You guys. Sorry, I should have specified. Malakon is not moving right now. You guys stopped him from moving when you addressed him. So,
Atarax, can you pop that when he's not looking, when we start walking, hold off on it until he starts walking?
That's fine.
Okay. That being said, though, you pop a Detect Good and Evil. Atarax, you don't sense anything.
Somehow that's worse. Somehow that's worse than
That's
evil.
a little bit more sus.
The most neutral being in existence.
No, you don't even sense neutrality. You normally would be able to sense that. You basically, for the sake of this campaign, we're going to say Detect Good and Evil is like an alignment detector.
And he blocked it.
No, it's not that he blocked it. It's like this guy doesn't even have an alignment. There's just nothing there.
Have y'all seen Psychopaths?
Can I do an Arcana check on this?
He's a sociopath.
You're a sociopath! Malakon, however, doesn't even make any reaction towards Atarax, so either he doesn't notice, and we got Annika guesting us right now in this stream. I mean, jeez.
Superstar.
Yep. Or he just doesn't care.
Or he just doesn't care. You don't know. You can make a perception. You can make an insight check if you'd like, or you can continue on because if you don't talk to him soon, he might just walk away.
Well,
but he has your attention. He's not moving. You're all like at the top of the stairs before the royal throne room doors, but the stairs are right there. He could just walk away at any moment. You don't know.
Well, Malachi, I am Count Marcus Adamar of Rochester. Want to ask a couple questions if you would? I can see you're on your way. We could walk together if you like. And he kind of leans towards the stair as if like trying to gently like, okay, we can start walking. We don't have to stay at the top of the stairs awkwardly.
Make a persuasion check.
18?
18 does work.
I'm rolling hot today, guys.
Malakon just kind of gives this look. He would just kind of looking over his nose, and he's like, very well. I was heading that way myself as well.
Certainly.
Seemingly completely ignoring Arios, Atarax, and Coco, he is now walking with Marcus slowly down the stairs. It's a very casual gait that they have. You're not... You guys are taking your time. It doesn't sound like he has to go anywhere for any pressing matter or something. So you got him. You got him now. So now you can try and talk to him.
I have since acquired employment at the Grey Blades, but I've come to understand that the Sanctum has joined the Grey Blades 50-50 in the war efforts in the city. Now, I was considering consulting and possibly hiring a few ranks of the Sanctum as well. And in doing so, we found out some very interesting projects y'all are going through.
I see that you have already taken a look at our experiment wing. Why did my mic suddenly get louder?
I don't know, but that sounded really cool. Like,
yeah.
And I was like, oh, he did a good effect there.
I didn't do anything. That's kind of terrifying.
Yeah. Malakon slowly grows larger and larger.
Malakon's taking over Evan's mic. Shit.
Hi, I'm Evan. I'm your DM and assuming direct control.
Pretty much.
If any of you know Mass Effect, I love you.
Yes.
Anywho.
Marcus is my favorite place in the kingdom.
I was sobbing about
that was me.
Mass Effect.
That was me. But anyway.
Okay. Malakon just kind of gives you an acknowledging little nod and goes, I see that you've already taken a look at our wing that has been loaned to us for our experiments. Was there something of what we do that you took interest in?
Well, absolutely. I mean, considering the fact that you guys are creating something that, once unleashed, runs itself. It's a perpetual motion arcanic weapon y'all creating here. Something like that. But I want to.
Okay, you're lucky, Coco. He rolled a 3. He didn't hear you say that, but watch yourself next time.
Woo!
How perpetual motion should be a thing, but whatever. That's not a can of worms we should be unpacking.
Right?
But that's none of my business.
Right. Frog. I'll cheers that, but anyway. But considering you're the one who headed up this project, I want to get more information about it straight from the horse's mouth. How long y'all been creating something like this? How long has this been part of, how long has this been an active project?
We, the Sanctum, have been slowly doing research into the arcane, both when it came to the elements, the forces of life, and death, and in all realms beyond.
Hey, please?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, if you finish, can I roll insight?
We just now find ourselves at an opportunity where we may finally be able to actually put our research into more practical purposes. Now he's done talking.
Okay, sorry.
Side check.
Insight.
I'm gonna go 5 for him.
You're inciting him?
Yeah. Like I said, I've been rolling hot all evening. 16 plus 4, 20. My man! 20 and 26, my friend.
Wait, so you're both insight checking him?
Oh yeah, Mark is gonna insight check him through his face just to see kind of if he believes his own hype or if he's just spinning something for the sake of PR to Marcus. And if whoever else is listening over his shoulder, they're making their own assumptions.
All right, Marcus, what did you roll?
20.
A straight 20. And Atarax, what did you roll?
26.
All right.
My dude.
It's a 26.
You guys are gonna hate me for this, Count Marcus.
Yeah.
You cannot get a read on this guy.
God.
Meanwhile, Atarax, you do get the very faint vibes that he truly does believe like what he is saying, but that's it. Like this guy is very hard to read.
This guy actually dead.
I'm not gonna do that to his. I will find that out, but I ain't gonna do that to his face. I'm gonna wait on that one. I have that card ready, but I ain't gonna pull it out yet. But okay, so Marcus is gonna be like, interesting. Now, I got a feeling y'all do this through the good old fashioned scientific approach. I can see.
That is correct, and that is also one of the reasons why we have taken, and my mic is getting loud again. What is going on? Maybe if I turn this thing down. Okay, hopefully that works. Okay. Where was I? Okay. Malikon goes, yes, and that is one of the reasons why we have requisitioned many of the requests that are given to the Greyblades, especially the ones that involve us able to find ourselves against such creatures. It is with these missions that we take where we simply don't just complete the mission and vanquish the creatures. If we can, we capture them for our own benefit.
Let me ask you.
Out of character, because that always ends well.
Oh, I'm trying to, bro. Let me ask. I mean, the scientific process is a very sound approach of all things in a practical material world. Have you ever done research into divinity, into the religions, into the elements you speak of? The elements and life and death and all this. It's great, but have you ever considered divine consultation from qualified sources?
Roll me a persuasion check.
Ooh. God, why am I telling the truth, man? Marcus is a better bullshitter than this.
At no point are you ever actually telling him a lie. You've just been asking him questions.
Hold on.
I'm just over here enjoying my elven.
What did you roll? Did you roll a? Oh shit. Okay.
I had to turn the camera to it. I cannot. Okay.
You're like a politician, just never actually say anything that's neither truth nor a lie.
I
wrote essays back in college. That's how I did it. I wrote them like a politician.
I might have to switch my name to like Duke Marcus to fabricate some bullshit here.
Anywho.
Let me see here. Persuasion? 23.
23? All right. Yeah. That actually kind of works. The Malikon very slowly grows a slightly proud-looking smile. And he just goes, "My friend, we at the Sanctum give tribute to the divine. It is through that guidance that we've been able to come this far, and it was through his guidance that we have been given this chance to actually come this far, so that we may finally dominate nature itself.
Okay, first off, logistically speaking, how far down the stairs are they?
There, you guys are like...
Hey, we push him down the stairs.
No.
That was my
I'm just, right?
Ew, my dad was like, fam.
Like, chunk.
Are
Like,
you
Featherball, damn it!
Are you Malakon, Lord of the Sanctum? I am. And it's like Death of Mary, Queen of Scots, and Monty Python.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking Shawn Michaels' Sweet Chin Music over the banister, but never mind.
You guys are about like 2/3 of the way down, so you still got time to ask him like one more question.
Okay, so now, does Marcus have a gut feeling that the group is still listening in?
The group's been keeping a steady pace behind you, and it seems like not Count Marcus. It seems like Malakon. Why do you both have M names? It seems like Malakon seems to have just assumed that these are your bodyguards or your entourage, and he's either completely forgotten about them or he doesn't care at all that they're listening in, because he pretty much assumes like if you know, then they're gonna know sooner or later. So what's the point?
Okay, so with that said, then Marcus is gonna ask his guidance. May I ask who he is?
This is the final question as you guys slowly approach the ground floor. Malakon gives a very warm smile, and he just goes, "Why, we are led by the god of death itself, of course." And at that moment, he finally turns around and walks away.
Marcus is like, "You didn't answer my question."
Oh.
And you could see Marcus start to his gaze start to get a little bit colder. Like, this guy knows he struck a nerve. Now, I apologize, but does this god of death have a name?
Who needs names in death? Then he walks away.
The dead. I feel like dead people need names.
Yeah, I need to come back and Troy's choking. Marcus would have something to say.
Unfortunately, Malakon has already left. He's left the scene. Like, he walked away after that question.
Fuck you, Malakon.
Yeah.
Arios to follow him and see where he goes.
At
the same time, I'm like, no.
Arios, your baby, please don't.
But I want to see where he goes.
I mean, you can.
Yeah, if Coco sees Arios start like following it, Coco's like keeping with Arios, like, gotta make. Well, if somebody's gonna follow a person who follows the god of death, like, might as well go with them.
But I'm tiny and I can sneak around very well.
He knows nothing about the god of death. Oh, you actually see Marcus like legitimately pissed.
Oh.
It is my duty to slay, beat undead, and prophets of a false god.
And with
why do you sound like Jonah Hex?
I was actually going for Undertaker, but okay.
Now, we don't have time to unpack all of that.
And with that said, we are going to take our break.
All right.
That is a most perfect moment to do that. So we're going to go get snacks. We're going to go on pee breaks and such. We'll be back in about like 10-15 minutes. Hopefully the rest of the stream cooperates with us, well, with me, a little bit easier. So we will see you in a little bit.
All right.
Well then.
First off, let me just strictly apologize for all of the glitches and issues.
No, you're fine. You're
had,
fine,
like,
man.
the first half hour of the stream.
We're worried for you, man.
Honestly, I think what I'm gonna do as soon as we're done here, once I have time, is I'm just gonna do, because I've been running into a lot of little issues, I'm just gonna do a full, like, reset of my computer and just re-download everything from scratch, and hopefully that might clear up any issues I might have. It's been a long time since my last refresh.
That might be it. What you have to
Alright.
Well, I'll just sit here since I already got my food.
Jordan's already snacking.
I have steak from the grocery store. There's this place by the people I dog sit for. They let me use their car so I could go to the grocery store for food. But they make pre-made meals, and like, you know how like you go to Mariano's, they're like, okay, like there's pizza, there's fried this, fried. They had steak for a super reasonable price that is delicious, and I bought a full pound.
Well, guys, this is the last week where I have to leave early. I do get to play the full time next week.
Yeah, that's good.
I will see you guys next week.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you for coming, man. You were awesome.
Bye, Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
Lauren.
I'm about to say, guys, take point here, man.
I will,
I don't want to have to carry the scene.
Jordan was actually trying to say something at the end, so.
Which one? I know. It's like.
It wasn't.
Oh shoot! And I want to have to ask after break. After he walks away, can Marcus get that divine sense in? I'll ask because
Oh, since I have Troy here, and Troy is also a football fan, the Seahawks are in that wild card round, man. Ranked number 3 in the NFC.
Thanks you for keeping me updated because Bears suck.
The Bears lost today against the.
Of course, the Bears lost today. I'm barely watching anymore.
The Bears didn't lose.
They actually, towards the end of the season, their defense was actually doing well. It's just like, it's the end of the season, like, when they are already down, had so many losses, it's like...
Well, at that point, everyone's playing with contracts.
Mm-hmm. Well,
especially for defense.
And the thing
like,
of it was, I was hoping
this thing.
the Bears would win, I was hoping the Panthers
You're talking, yeah. So instead of a wild card.
the Packers and the Saints won, so I was like, well, we're going to be the 3 seed, whether we win or lose, so Pete Carroll, do whatever you want.
Is old man Breeze still in New Orleans?
Yeah, New Orleans. New Orleans won to beat the Panthers.
Is old man Breeze still quarterback?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is.
Nice.
Like,
Yeah,
Rodgers again. Rodgers still has at least 5 or less years left in it.
Oh, Breeze is still going.
Breeze, I think this year or next year is going to be Breeze's last year. Then he's going to be commenting on like ABC or CBS or Fox.
Homeboy's got a job lined up.
He has
He's
open contracts
fine.
out.
Yeah,
he gets his choice.
yeah. He's fine. He's probably been doing like commentator practice rounds between like quarterback practice rounds. Yeah, he's gonna be like when we're all in our 40s and we're gonna be like Drew Brees is our Troy Aikman.
Well, it's gonna be him and it's gonna be Tony Romo. Like they're just gonna be our commenters for like the rest of
We're like, no, we both remember when you're players.
Hi, Gilligan.
Decent one.
I really like Troy Aikman, not Tony Romo's commentary because because you could tell that he was a real student of the sport.
Yeah. He just didn't have an arm, or an line. He didn't have an arm or a line.
Well, he didn't have like a cannon like a Rodgers or a Matthew Stafford, but he was cerebral.
And basically, he would have been like Tom Brady if he had a line. He would have been as smart as him. In some ways, he's smarter.
Oh no, like the dude's like I love watching him when he comments because like he can predict the play like a good 75% of the time before it happens. Like he's up there and he's like, now watch. He's he's either going to do this or this, and it happens. And you're just like, he's like, see, that's exactly why. Here's how I knew. And then he'll draw it out for you, and you're just like, dude.
So there's this one thing in boxing where they'll take a very expert boxing trainer, and because you never know the judges' scorecards, they'll always have that one fantasy scorecard guy that will say, well, my call is 10-6 Floyd Mayweather because of da-da-da-da-da-da. And more times than not, like 9 times out of 10, your commentator judge will be correct. Yeah. Unless some miraculous knockout happens, which doesn't always happen. But that's probably how Momo is. He just kind of call the shot from the snap.
Well, yeah. And like, it'll be interesting to see. Because I think, Witten tried, but he just wasn't that engaged. But Romo's engaging, and I think Breeze will be interesting to see how he does as a commentator.
Well, Romo always had a personality.
Romo does have personality, and then you hear stories about him like when off the field, like when he was dating, like prior to dating his wife, he actually asked to go pick up his now wife at her parents' place and picked her up via like just a regular car, and then went out to date and brought her back home before like 11 p.m. like an old school. He's that old school kind of guy.
I don't know where he lives, but if it's Texas, it's basically like that was a feeling for Texas right there.
Well, yeah.
That was Southern charm out that ass.
And then his
Yes.
Yeah. And then his what was it? His bachelor party was literally just a fishing trip. Like they went to a cabin and went out to and just had a fishing trip and drank beers and drove around on ATVs. Like that was the bachelor party.
That doesn't sound like a bad bachelor party, to be honest with you.
No, honestly, I would prefer that over the stereotypical one. Like,
well, call me a little bit old, but I've had my man whoring days, so like I don't need my bachelor party to relive like unofficial man whoring days. Which, if I'm set to be married, I'm probably not going to do my man whore things.
Honestly, that sort of stuff for a bachelor party often just leads to nothing but trouble.
Yeah,
most of the time. Yeah.
Like my bachelor party, I'll like go do like a fishing trip with the boys, or like
have a cold one with the boys.
Have a cold one with the boys. Well, actually, like do a weekend fishing trip, like fishing and watching sports and drinking beers with the buds. Like that's.
I would say it depends on the shape my bachelor party's in, but if everyone has like swimming, cardio, paintball, and beer, and if people don't have cardio, gun range and beer.
Paintball.
One has running, one does not. Both of them shoot. Both of them have beer.
That reminds me of the time where I was out with an ex, and we were shooting rifles and guns and stuff at a range at her dad's place, and one of her dad's buddies comes up, and he had converted his gun to essentially to the power and everything like that of a Desert Eagle. He just hands it to me and just goes, "Have fun," like full clip, and I held it up and I fired that thing. My whole shoulders went back due to the power behind that. I was like,
I've been shooting since I was 10, yo.
There was
If I ever have a bachelorette party, it's a spa day.
It's a spa.
I'm just saying, massages and everything.
Rachel, because she's gonna be the one that's doing it. She really wants to go to Vegas, and I was like, girl, if you're paying.
Yeah, she's paying.
I would say if I had a bachelor party, it would be like, it wouldn't be a shit show, but it'd be like almost a shit show. Miami. One, that's where like the best gun range is. There's this one gun range in Miami that I went to on a business conference, which you just buy a package of assault rifles. One mag each, but you get a package of like 5 rifles. And so like when I went there, I bought the 007 package. It had like the classic, like you Call of Duty buffs, you know this. The MP5, that converted to shoot. The UMP, which is basically a modernized version of a 40s Tommy gun.
Yeah.
Like a mafia Tommy gun. That's my favorite thing to shoot at, straight up. There's a weird Glock that was like a pistol converted of an auto, which I didn't really like because the mag can eat in less than 2 seconds.
Oh yeah, no, those things can empty real quick.
Oh god, it was like, I had it, I'm like,
that's why for those ones you see the people actually have the extended clip.
Yeah, the extended out the ass.
Like the ones that are ridiculous, and you're just like, why don't I just have a rifle?
Pretty much. And then like the last move back was the T-Bones, which was powerful. Like that sucker, I switched it back to second because I'm like, oh, shit. Like
I personally like using like almost sniper-like rifles because I love the ability to like aim long distance and see how close I can actually get to long distance. Like firing those autos are a lot of fun, but like I love.
was. He was via Carly, so you know.
No,
I know.
we actually
it
couldn't
was a
hear
bad
you at
joke.
all because we were still kind of working on
Something keeps going on with my mic. How it keeps like cutting out, and then it'll say like no like audio devices found.
Might need a new one then.
This is my new computer.
Oh, it's
a week ago.
Oh boy. So.
Is it the cord of the mic?
I don't know.
Well, and for the time being, if that issue pops up again, just go to that little speaker icon that had the little red X, right-click it, and click on Troubleshoot. And apparently opening up that window and letting it alone for a few seconds seems to fix it for the time being. So we'll just do that from now on.
Mm-hmm.
After the stream, we'll figure out a more permanent solution. It's going to be okay.
Always is. Always is.
We can't hear you again, I don't think.
Me?
Oh, no, we can hear you. We can hear you. You were just quiet
yeah.
that time. You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, you were quiet. I was like, shit.
Just speak at this point. Speak up and use lips. So we'll figure it out.
And use lips.
Loud noises.
All right, so.
He was like that stuff.
All right, so.
When he asked you what that mouth do?
So.
All right, so. So yeah, sorry again. It looks like we're just still having a lot of technical issues during this break. You could all hear us while we were talking. Sorry about that. That was not meant to happen.
We weren't talking about anything bad.
Yeah, we weren't talking anything bad, but still, you know,
I was about to reveal my grossest like food combination ever.
Anywho. So, returning from our break, and I hope you all had a wonderful time with snacks and going to the bathroom and such. Grandmaster Malakon has walked out of the palace away from you, essentially proclaiming that the divine being that gives him and the Sanctum guidance is also the god of death.
I was going to ask, and I wasn't able to ask this during break, but as he took those steps away, can Marcus now pop his divine sense and see what he can do?
Yes, now you can.
Okay. So divine sense is I got burn one. That's my second one of the day. I get 4 prolonged rest as an action. I can detect good and evil until the end of my next turn. You can sense anything affected by the Hallow spell or know the location of a celestial fiend undead within 60 feet. That is not behind total cover. I'm making sure this guy's in my face. Yeah, and then this is number 2 of 4 so far.
All right. Coming from, if you were looking at specifically Malekith, or Malakon, sorry, Malekith is the dark elf from Thor.
Right.
Malakon, why do I think these names?
Farrakhan.
Okay, it's okay. Hey, don't confuse the man. Let's do this.
While you are using your spell on Shao Kahn, he is, you don't sense anything out of the ordinary from him. He seems to be just a normal mortal drow. You can't quite tell if that's just what he is, or if there are any attempts to block your sense actively or passively. You can't really tell. All around you, however, you are just getting the faintest senses of, again, those magical traces that you felt from the keep that you were all in last session. It almost feels like those same traces are... now Hemington is saying that we all sound like we're talking in a can.
Yeah.
Oh,
apparently
yeah.
we do.
Can you... Is that everybody?
That's what
Hello?
That's what
I
she
think
says.
it's probably the streaming service and maybe the internet from that side.
Yeah, I think it's official. As soon as we're done here, I'm doing a computer reset.
Yep.
Anywho.
Yeah.
From what you can tell, those same magical traces seem to be on Malakon's person. Though again, you still can't quite tell exactly what they are, but they do seem to be divine in nature. Answer me this, Count Marcus. Does your divine sense have any kind of radius or range about it?
60 feet.
60 feet, okay. So, yeah, you pretty much can't really detect anything beyond, like, the front courtyard of the palace up to the stairs and such. So you have a limited radius, but you can't really sense all that much. And again, but you can sense that keep you all were in, where we were talking with the acolyte, the traces in there and the traces on Malakon seem identical. Atarax, you had your hand raised.
Is Malakon wearing any religious iconography that would either appear similar to Count Marcus's or different anyway?
Make a perception check with disadvantage, because you're basically trying to get a good look at him when he's already a fair distance away.
I am using this. I will cast guidance on myself.
Alright.
I feel like Ishtar needs me to know this. Bless myself with a +4. Or
Pump it all out. This is it. I don't think we're getting to a fight anytime soon, but whatever you got, pull it.
What was it again?
It was insight, right?
Insight, yeah. No, perception.
Perception, yes. With disadvantage, well, first one is... Oh, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. Natural one. Natural one on the first roll.
A very hot royal maid walks by you, and you're like, oh.
Frosty Atarax.
It's pretty much Pamela Anderson, like in her glory days, just walks by. And
you're yeah, definitely, yeah. French maid outfit just walks right by you.
And that actually shakes Marcus out of his anger state.
Just seeing the distracted, pious cleric that is Atarax go through puberty for the first time.
And then see what he's distracted of, and he's like, oh.
Nice.
Exactly.
May I just say, Arios is still watching Malekith going, should I?
What just happened to me? Good gods.
Yeah, Arios is the only one not distracted by the sexy.
Another time.
Arios would be thinking more of, how would Davina look in that outfit?
Oh,
we'll get to that.
Arios uses some broguing skills to try to take the clothing off of the woman, and she doesn't realize that she can put it, and so Arios can put it in their pocket to save for later.
There's probably like a lover's lane in Acheron where you can get the exact same outfit for her. You don't know.
Could be a seamstress.
Acheron could have a red light district. They're all adults here.
Very
Marcus would know that.
Very true.
Marcus, you want to roll a history check just in case?
Oh, I want.
That's going to be low DC, because that's probably the first thing. No, it wasn't the first thing looked at. But in a normal case, when he's not on the clock and not, he's got a desk screaming in his ear, that would be the first thing you look at. That's a 14 plus. Hold on. That was an 8. I'm sorry. Wrong side of my die. 7.
Damn.
A total of 7?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You're pretty sure that there is one. You just can't remember where it is exactly in Acheron.
One problem at a time, my friends. One problem at a time.
That being
We're
said,
about that later.
That being said, though, Malakon is officially gone. You all have your divine senses, and Atarax, you tried to use a perception to see any religious iconography, but unfortunately, you were distracted by a walking French maid, Pamela Anderson.
God, the Generation Zers in our stream are gonna be like, woo!
You're gonna be like, what? Pamela Anderson?
That is old school.
Yeah,
right
that is like the eldest of us, like ancient.
That being said, though, by this time, the team that met with King Gahoon, you finished your meeting. It actually went rather well, considering the person that you were dealing with. Gahoon was very straightforward, just as so long as you didn't try to use any ulterior motives against him and such. And while you weren't really so much able to find out anything about Malakon, you did seem to put yourselves in the king's good graces by telling him about the idea of creating orphanages from the old manors of the Balmarises. So, while you unfortunately were not able to find any good information, you were able to get on the king's good side, so that might pay off the next time you need to actually speak with him.
And don't forget, I planted a seed of the Sanctum helping Davina.
You did indeed, yes.
That was deliberate.
That was deliberate. While the king may not be able to assist you with that idea is still in his head. So who knows what may happen down the road. That being said, though, the team finally unites at the bottom of the stairs in the main foyer of the palace. How do you guys talk to each other? Because the party's been split this entire time.
Alright, should we all...
Try the door, right?
No, the people... Like, all of you walked away from the throne room door. You guys are back on the ground level. You met up with the people going after Malicon. So you're...
Assume we're waiting for you guys. Assume we're waiting for the throne room team at the bottom of the stairs.
May I make a suggestion? That we do not compare notes here, but we go back to the tavern we were at and compare notes there, where no one can hear us.
Well, now the tavern or the Eagle Eye Inn that you went to, where you got...
I guess the Eagle Eye Inn.
Yeah, penthouse, room service. We got this.
Okay.
Okay, so
for the sake... that, Evan, might I, just because I don't think I'm going to be back here, go to that place that Gahun told me about and quickly get that done?
Oh, yes, of course. So Davina basically tells you all to, like, hey, hang on a second, let me do a thing first. Davina...
I gotta see a guy about a thing.
Oh, I was just gonna say that, like, she's like, I'll meet you guys there, because she knows where it is. But if you guys want to wait, like, that's fine. Too.
Well, everyone else aside from Davina...
That's my new name. Davina.
Yeah, Davina, warrior princess.
That's
she kind of is. She's a princess of industry.
Yeah.
Can we get Davina some chakrams then? She needs some chakrams.
Yeah.
Anywho,
my car is a Davina. Alright, anyway.
The rest of the party, you can either wait, some of you may actually go with Davina, or you can get a head start and start heading over to the Eagle Eye Hotel.
I'll tell you what, why don't y'all wait for Davina? I'm gonna go ahead and make sure lunch and catering set for by the time y'all get there.
Okay, so Count Marcus is already getting a head start. What does everyone else do?
I follow Count Marcus.
I say you're gonna love this, and yeah.
Okay, so Arios, you got yoinked by Davina, and you're taken over to the southeastern keep. Eden, Atarax, and Polo and Mistral, what are you guys doing?
I'm gonna follow Count Marcus.
Okay, so Polo is getting a head start to the hotel.
But I look at Davina and I say to her, "Be smart."
Aren't I always? Don't answer that.
You hear a giant voice.
I look at Arios and I say, "We'll see."
You hear a giant voice from the sky. Don't answer that. Just this kid in a gray shirt, this kid in a gray shirt and jammy pants is sitting in the lobby and he lowers newspapers and he goes, "Don't answer that." Mistral, Atarax, and Eden, what are you guys doing?
I want to wave goodbye to Davina and Arios and yell after them, "I'm not casting Lesser Restoration on you again in the morning."
Well.
So, Atarax, are you sticking around or are you leaving?
Are you leaving?
I'm leaving. I'm gone.
Okay, you're heading to the Eagle Eye. Eden, what are you doing?
Go ahead, Mistral.
Go ahead, Mistral.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I was gonna stick around for another two.
So you're just kind of hanging out in the lobby?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mistral is lobby conning at the palace. Eden, what are you doing?
I'll take Mistral company. Make sure no one's being a dick butt.
Okay, so Eden and Mistral, you guys are hanging out just in the lobby. Atarax, Polo, and Marcus are getting a head start over to the Eagle Eye Hotel to get their room ready, to possibly get some catering for the big meeting coming up. Davina and Arios, you guys are actually heading over to the southeastern wing, so we're going to focus on you two first. Davina and Arios, let's get the suspenseful music out of here first because the scene no longer calls for it. We're going to go with some calming music. So, Davina and Arios, you find yourself in the southeastern wing. This place seems like... It's... I'm not exactly sure how to describe it, but it's a place where the common folk are allowed to go and submit, requests that are like architecture and requisition related. If in case buildings need to get like renovated or basically fixed and such, this is the place where you can submit such requests and such. And I noticed that I say the phrase "and such" a lot in my life. Davina and Arios, you find yourselves... it's not a long line here. Takes you about a good 10 minutes before you're met by a goblin on the other side of a gate. Like bars and such, kind of at a bank, and he goes, yes, how may I help you out today?
I hand him the medallion with the dragon claw on it.
He takes it, and he's like, oh, yes, of course. How may we be of humble assistance to the two of you?
I look at him and I say, hello, I'm Miss Davina Balmaris. And I had a brief conversation with King Gahun about renovating some of the Balmaris keeps into orphanages.
Oh, yes, of course. I can definitely see if we can sacrifice a small workforce for each manor. Exactly how many manors are we talking here?
I was about to say, it's not going to be each manor. It's going to be everyone except for their winter villa.
Everyone except for the winter villa. So how many manors is that going to be?
I mean, you said originally that there was one for each season.
There's
correct?
there's one for each season, and then there's their main estate in Acheron.
Oh, well, let's keep the one in Acheron then, because that's the smarter idea.
The only reason why you went to the winter villa is because it was on the way at your most recent mission with Malice.
Okay, so that's gonna be 4 villas.
4 winter villas.
No, just four houses.
4 villas. All right. He's already taken like a large bunch of paperwork, and he's already like writing and filling them out and such. All right.
Arios is kind of giggling off to the side.
All right, we're gonna need whenever you can. We have your request cemented. It shall be done. On your own time, though, we are going to need the locations of these villas. And
can I just write those down right now?
Roll me a history check.
With advantage, because I've been there.
Yes, with advantage. I will allow it.
Oh, thank God. I got a 19. And and history is one of my proficiencies. So that is 23.
All right, awesome. You know precisely not just where these villas are, but like the most exact locations. Like if you could give like actual coordinates, you would give them like longitude and latitude numbers. But you do describe 2 of them as best as you can. They now have a perfect idea where each of these villas are. And they go, all right, very well. Locations are secured. We'll send out a team to each villa to do a survey to see where they're located, how their upkeep is, and we'll bring to you ideas on possible renovation styles. Should be ready for you in a week or so.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
It has been an honor. We will file this away, and he holds up the gold medallion. Is there anything else that you need assistance with, Lady Balmaris and Sir?
This is one of my compatriots, Arios.
Oh, he's just a compatriot to you now?
I didn't want to say boyfriend.
Hey,
I mean, yeah, come on, guys. Her husband just died, like in some horrible.
This is
absolutely nothing about.
This is my plaything.
This little blue thing is my toy.
And my toy, snoo.
My manservant.
This is my man bitch.
Also, Izzy, what did you drop on the ground? I saw you drop that paper, and
I use him for the snooze and only for the snooze.
I was like, this is my power bottom.
Since I'm not in the scene, like, I was trying to get ahead on my Patreon mail, and the thing I just peeled off of my cricket board just completely ripped. So I'm just giving up and just like not.
Oh, jeez, I'm sorry.
So I just dropped it on the floor. I was very upset. It's fine. We'll just drop that too.
All right. Anywho. So he just agrees with. He goes with compatriot. That all was non-canon. That whole entire venting. So we're just gonna go with compatriot.
The smartest option.
And you're right. It is the smartest option. I'm just giving you grief. I'm just. Giving you
Davina looks at Arios and says, "I'll make it up to you tonight. I promise."
That is canon.
Yeah.
Luckily, the goblin did not hear that last little portion. He goes, are there any other requests that we may fulfill for you, Lady Balmaros and Sir Arios?
I look at Arios and I said, do you have anything that you want to add to these renovations?
Main squeeze. Sorry. My mom just wrote that in chat.
No. I mean, just maybe leave. Pull out all the pictures and just, let us have the pictures after they're all torn down. I think they need a little bit of touch-up work.
All right. We would like all of the pictures.
All right, not a problem. We can certainly fulfill that request. I will make sure to put that in the notes, and he does so. Very well. It has been a pleasure serving you, Lady Balmaris.
Thank you very much. And I'm sorry, I did not catch your name.
Gregory, sir. And ma'am, sir, ma'am, sir.
Technically, he probably would call her sir.
It's not a habit, just...
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gregory.
He would slip.
Appreciate it.
The Sanctum's military, so kinda, so he might refer to her as sir. So.
Alright. So with that business done, you guys return from the southeastern keep, and you make your way back to the lobby where you see Eden and Mistral waiting for you. Eden, Mistral, if I could have you both roll d20s for me.
Just
straight d20s, not having to do with any stat or anything. Just roll a d20 each of you.
Nothing modified here.
No curves. No windy roads.
This is more random than a D100.
I got a 19.
Nice.
Ooh, that's actually really good. I got a 10.
So half of y'all survive your death saves.
Yeah. Suddenly a meteor crashes down. Mistral lives and Eden gets killed.
Plot twist, the king is a Tarrasque in disguise.
Fuck that!
And he is hungry.
Fuck that!
The king hands you the deck of what was it called?
No!
Deck of many things.
The deck of fuck-up campaign, that's what it is. Deck of fuck your campaign.
Plot twist, the king is a goose.
And it starts Untitled Goose Campaign.
I was about to say that.
Which I am still working on. I haven't forgotten. It just needs a lot of touching up soon because I want it to be perfect.
It has beautiful artwork already made for it. The artwork is very excited to be seen.
Oh no. Anywho. So Mistral, Eden, what were your rolls again?
10. I got a 19.
Okay, Eden, you find yourself approached by a couple noble ladies who seem very interested in the fact that not only are you a Greyblade, but you are a very attractive tiefling man.
Oh, sexy.
Mistral, on the other hand, you are swarmed by noble boys.
Hell yeah!
Nice.
It's all you.
Girl!
And some of the ladies.
And some of the ladies.
Badge. Some people think it's...
Eden, you got like 3 women on you. Mistral, you have 9.
Nice. 9 women?
9 men and women.
Like 6 men and 3 women.
Okay, I just need to... That makes total sense. Am I... Eden?
I was gonna say, how far away are we from each other?
Like, are we back to back? And like...
you're not really back to back, but you're not exactly that far away from each other. You're like 15 feet apart from each other.
Shush. How far away?
Like 15 feet apart from each other.
15 or 50?
15.
Okay.
50 feet? No, you wouldn't be 50
I can't hear because Jordan's over here crunching.
Stop your crunching, Jordan.
You're making us hungry.
Crunch.
Why he's crunching off camera.
If she was, just say if she was close enough, I'd just grab Mistral's hand and like act like we're together. Be like, I'm sorry, ladies.
Oh.
I'm only horny for her. Ha ha. Get it?
Roll for attack.
Roll Eden, because all of these people are too blinded by infatuation and how hot the both of you are.
You both are just so pretty.
I want Eden to roll me a deception check with advantage.
Yeah. As we travel through Falk Reef with the music in the background.
Where am I? Where's Polo while all this is happening?
Polo's back at the hotel. You went with Marcus.
Oh,
okay.
You were with Marcus, right?
I thought we all went. I'm sorry.
No. So basically,
Marcus, Polo, and Atarax got a head start and just returned to the hotel. Eden and Mistral were just hanging out in the main foyer of the palace, while Davina and Arios were doing their own thing.
Okay.
And just for the sake of, I am a horrible DM. I am so sorry, people who are watching. We should have stated, Lauren, who plays Coco, our Warforged, had to step away during the break as well. I am a horrible person. I completely forgot to point that out. Because of Lauren's work shift, she is unable to stay with us for the entire campaign. But that is something that is only going to be temporary. She has stressed. So hopefully that changes in the near future. But yeah, for the sake of continuity, we're gonna say that Coco went with Polo and Marcus and Atarax to head back to the hotel.
And that they're just chilling at the hotel, popping bottles.
Yeah,
no, not yet. Now we'll get to that. I have plans.
Lauren probably would have made him do that anyway, so it's not,
Honestly, I don't know. I feel like Coco had as much of a chance to stay in the lobby. But that's just me. Anywho,
50-50,
Eden.
We'll never know.
Anyway, Eden, I would like you to roll me a deception check.
I did that, and I got the second roll was like a 3. The first one was a 3. The second one was a nat 20 plus 2, so 22.
Okay, and the fact that it's a nat 20 already makes it special enough. Already seeing a tiefling boy and a high elf girl, like the very image of it is like.
Could it be any more obvious? Sorry.
Any more obvious?
Just the very image of it is scandalous, but in kind of a hot way. So already, like, all of these noble boys and girls are like, oh.
What is this Song of the Wild TMZ? Like,
kinda, yeah. We've slipped into TMZ.
Y'all got badges. Y'all what level? We're all level 10 here, man. Y'all got rep.
Yo, click this link for top 10 hottest Greyblades. Number 4 will blow your mind.
It's Logan. Logan's number 4.
Yeah.
No, Logan is number 3, actually. Anne Marie is number 1.
Yes, that's
my girl.
Yeah, I would just like to point out the Greyblades just by, this is totally uncanon, but the Greyblades have their own like they do like the firefighter like calendar thing.
Davina's July.
I just found this on the floor.
Davina's July. Anywho, I'm so sorry. So, you successfully convinced all of the nobles that Eden and Mistral are an item, and they think that it is so scandalous, and some of them respect the choice that you made. A lot of them want to know more. At this point, however, Davina and Arios make their way back to the lobby, and you are besought by a sight of all of these nobles just surrounding Eden and Mistral, who are holding hands.
I look at Arios and say, I fucking called it.
I almost imagine, like, if Polo was there, he'd be like, we were gone for like 10 minutes. What happened?
First Davina and Arios, now this?
Possible.
Incestuous around here, I swear.
I look at Mistral, be like, and I like gesture towards Davina and Arios. And as soon as we're up front, be like, we need to go now.
Okay, I got this. Straw.
Mistral's like, I never do anything fast. You're gonna have to.
Mistral flamboyantly, like, pushes these these nobles out of the way, and it's just like, looks like she's just overcome with joy to be like, get the fuck out of my way. Oh, Davina! And like dragging Eden behind, like, oh, with this like slight face as soon as she gets past the nobles of like, save us, save us.
Make her do a performance check.
Davina, Mistral, do a performance check.
Oh, you want to challenge?
I mean, that's a proficiency for her, so.
That's kind of.
I was gonna say, you want to challenge me to a performance check?
Do it.
I would like to go to that one.
Excuse me, I've been waiting for this day to use this.
You popping your lucky dice and everything, aren't you?
Hold on. I just want to say, not only are you challenging Mistral, but you're challenging a fucking like theater kid.
Yo, whipping her hair and shit.
Anyways.
Oh, actually, Mistral, you would have advantage because of Eden.
Great, let me roll one more time. Hold on.
Let's see if she cracks in that 20.
I'm loving the sassy energy coming from Izzy right
I know, I love it.
Okay.
Love the sass.
Who is ready for the number?
I am, because you need to.
And it is.
What did you roll?
I rolled probably the highest roll I will ever get in this game. I rolled a 32.
Nice!
What?
Yeah.
What did you roll?
I rolled a 19, and my performance is plus 13.
Wow!
Oh my god.
That's my girl.
That's wild.
All of the
All right,
Challenge a bard with
All right,
performance.
DM, time to mold this scene.
Yeah.
Everybody, silence.
Mistral.
Mistral's performance, 2 OP, please
Through this
nerf.
performance, you have suddenly tapped into the innate sixth sense of all of these foppish, flamboyant nobles, and all of a sudden, it turns into a big musical number as you just, like, split the Red Sea of nobles in a very, like, flamboyant way, and almost as if on cue, all of the boys, 2 on each side of you, hold you by the arms, and they lift you over to Davina.
It's blondes have more fun. That's what it's turned into.
Because Izzy, I think that Izzy's gonna like this. Can we make it canon that the musical number is to dancing through life from Wicked?
Oh god. That's how
Not
it
only
would be.
that, but Eden, because Eden is feeling the effects of this performance check, you have been lifted up by all of the women in this party. And apparently they're holding you in a formation that have you sitting down like this.
That's about right.
Like, you are just being carried over to Davina like a baller right now.
I'm dying.
This is what y'all came here for.
Dropped one of my dice. So yeah, you are brought over to Davina and Arios in the grandest display ever.
There you go.
Are you gonna say anything?
I need to leave.
Davina, Carly got hot. Davina got hot. Davina got so hot over this that Carly had to shut her jacket.
I did. It was too spicy for me.
It cracked the meta. It was so hard. It was so hard. It shattered Davina's fourth wall.
Meanwhile, Polo and Marcus are sitting down, and I look at Marcus and I say, "I hope they don't take too long."
Oh, man, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. I'm sure nothing at all is going on over there.
Atarax just gets a shiver down his spine. I sense the disturbance in the force.
Something doesn't
Ooh,
feel
Mufasa.
right.
Ooh, say it
And
again.
we finally get to the episode that has an orgy. All right.
Oh my.
Yes, by the way, on that end, I am planning a Song of the Wilds version of House Party as a one-shot soon.
Oh, no!
God.
Polo's just on the chair going, how's it going, dude?
How's it going, dude? Staying away from alcohol?
Why do I feel like that would be Polo that would say that?
I did say
It
that.
is!
Yeah.
Anywho, sorry, we are wasting so much time and all of it is my fault. I am so sorry. This is just one of those nights where we're just having more fun.
Yeah.
Which is fine, honestly.
I brought the freaking I brought the growly. I brought the angry emo moment. Let's have this.
I mean, done this episode. Davina finally got what she fucking wanted. Like,
yep,
I'm done.
We've won. We've won. We're not all dead. We've won. Let's just keep rolling.
All right, so Davina and Arios, you have Eden and Mistral, who are just like flamboyantly carried over directly, and they land right before you. And all of the nobles just do like this little motion as they back away from them.
I was gonna say, as soon as like they put us down back to holding hands very awkwardly.
Yes.
Because the whole ruse.
Arios is just like, I like your style.
Right?
Get
You
it?
guys.
But for some reason, it makes me really want to wear a like pink dress.
It's like Aerith watching Cloud dancing with the honeybee.
Yeah.
Arios is just like, suddenly I am just wanting to put on like a pretty blonde wig and dance around in a black and purple dress. Like, what is going on?
Arias, you take any excuse to do that. No.
And wait. And Davina's like, oh my god, we are on such the same wavelength because I want to put on like a black wig and a black dress and somehow go to a place
Slather my body with green paint.
Wow.
Anyway, enough with the wicked here. Jeez. You thespian kids. Jeez.
What are you talking about? I don't know what thespian you are talking about.
Moment right
Our
now,
spirit
okay?
fingers. These are spirit
God, I miss being a thespian myself. Anywho.
Davina, don't you think it's time for us to be on our merry way?
I would think so. Come on, you two lovebirds, let's go.
Davina,
Yes, let's go.
Arios, Mistral, and Eden, you both, all four of you, successfully make your way out of the palace. Behind you, all of the nobles are like on one knee just doing this, like jazz hands, as like your big exit number.
Best moment of my life.
Oh man, performance checks by the bard, people. That's how awesome they can get, especially if they roll a nat 20.
They roll a 19.
A 19, jeez.
I was so close to a nat 20, but next time.
She's so close she can taste it.
By the way, the Hemington now wants us to make a Greyblade's sexy calendar.
Okay.
Why?
Logan will be December, and he will be doing the whole like side thing by the fireplace.
I'm sorry, but that month is reserved for Volthric. If anything, Logan is November.
Still the same pose.
Still the same pose. But Volthric is doing the whole sexy Santa thing.
A turkey's placed right here, like very specifically.
Davina's gonna be making fireworks.
Anyway, as soon as we're in the building,
you guys leave the building.
You let go of Mistral's hand. I am so sorry, Mistral, but that's the only thing I could think of in that situation.
In a weird version of her calmest voice, while awkwardly closing her eyes, exhaling, she's like, "We did what had to be done. I'm glad we made it out alive."
Fucking love you guys.
The trauma, it's real, guys.
For the sake of expediency, we will say that all four of you just beeline it straight to the Eagle Eye Hotel. You make your way back to the giant penthouse suite where Polo, Marcus, Atarax, and Coco are waiting for you. Coco seems to be taking a moment to plug himself in and recharge, so he has shut down for the time being.
So he doesn't need to speak.
Marcus, when he arrived, he was gonna head over towards either room service or front desk, something for catering. He actually has a menu. He has a list.
Oh, nice.
It's like, all right, so my entourage is gonna be arriving very, very soon. If we could prepare the luncheon for today, we're gonna need a pitcher of the seasoned ale, a pitcher of fresh water. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many cups do we need, you guys?
There's a total of 8 of you.
We need 8 cups, 1 extra just in case. 2 loaves of fresh bread, 1 deep fried turkey, a bowl of in-season vegetables, and 5 pieces of flatbread and an assortment of jelly.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving, motherfuckers.
Marcus kept a strong mind when it came to the jelly, and I didn't remember what the flavor preference was. But like
the concierge behind the desk. The concierge behind the desk doesn't bat a frickin' eye from that massive order, and he just goes, "Of course, sir, and it shall be derived directly to your door once it is finished. We will send a message to let you know that it is on its way."
Certainly. Thank you so much. Drops a pre-tip because
I was gonna say tip him.
Oh no, he does. He always tips. In some ways,
remember to tip your waiters.
In some ways, this is a Troy thing. Sometimes Marcus will pre-tip even before the order and be like, "See, this is what we need."
You go up to your waiter and you just push them. You tip them. You just.
Yeah. So always a tip. This is the front desk person, but he's still gonna tip. So.
Oh yeah, the waiter's basically a giant cow minotaur. He's got the black and white patches.
All right. Sure, why not? And then he'll bring the boys up to the penthouse waiting for the girls. And the
yeah, the food, all that food is gonna take a while. So definitely the other half of the party is able to make it back to the penthouse by this time. So all of you are now back together. What do you discuss?
Well, the first thing I discuss is I look at them and I say, "What the hell happened to you all?"
No.
Well, are you talking about what just happened or what happened with the king?
Well, I know what happened with the king. I was there.
Should we set this in chronological order or reverse chronological?
I'm like losing my gosh darn.
Well, technically, order is going to be kind of tricky because timeline-wise, both the meeting with the king and the meeting down the stairs with Malakon both happened at the same time.
Yeah. Which is also why like Marcus is like, okay, where do we start?
I just didn't want us to talk about it until we were in a safe spot.
Enough. This is safe spot.
I was just asking them why they all look so ruffled and like burnt out.
Y'all look like y'all came out of a Bardic musical.
Davina looks at Mistral and Eden and says, "Well, apparently, we have a new couple." I'm just kidding.
No,
they had to
do
what they had to do to get out of a crowd.
Well, you just stood there.
I was enjoying the show.
Hey, you rocked it. What else was I supposed to do?
My one favorite musical.
Davina, I am a tiefling in a relationship with a halfling. I know when a tiefling is in a relationship, and that's not what's happening here.
Oh, I know. I was kidding. Thank you, though.
Oh, dare you leave us there surrounded by things.
So, what did... And then Davina looks at Count Marcus. What did you guys find out?
All right. Everyone start getting comfortable with the food's here. Is the food here yet?
It's gonna be another 10 minutes.
Okay, so we're still discussing something. Okay. All right, sit down, everyone relax. So,
how about them bears?
this asshole's full of shit. He's either full of shit or believes in his own bullshit. He believes in his own hype, even worse than I do. They all believe, and Atarax, and I'm gonna need also some whatever pickup. Ariels, if you have anything to add, please interrupt me whenever. They truly believe their little necrotic experiment, their little nuclear test site they got going on there was gonna be the solution to everyone's problems. And let's just say at least I know why I'm here. Probably now I know why the little voice in my head screaming into my ear. Malakon worships another entity who deems themselves the god of death.
But it's not your god of death.
It ain't the god of death. Here's what I know.
He worships the god of the mostly dead.
No, he this asshole worships the god of manipulation of death. In fact, I don't even know if it's God. It's definitely a false god in my eyes. You see, one thing that I came into an understanding very recently, as recently as last night. He actually kind of looks to Atarax for a second. You see, there was a reason why Null is known as the god of honorable death. And he reaches down to his holy symbol. It's all one big circle. It's all one big fucking cycle.
Marcus, can you please roll me a religion check?
Oh, sorry.
No. You're fine. I'm springing this out on you.
Okay. Religion. It is 13.
13. Okay. Upon touching your holy symbol while you are giving this instruction, already your holy symbol starts to faintly glow with a soft purple light.
Okay. It's all one big damn cycle. You see, when we pass.
It's all a circle, baby.
Yeah. When we pass, our bodies.
Does it say love is like a circle?
Right? Pretty much.
Like a flat circle.
You see, when we pass with honor, our bodies are then given to the world and given its energy to the world in order to create new life. You notice something? He holds up the circle, this circle holy symbol, and it glows. He nods over to Atarax. Notice it's all connected.
Sides of the same coin.
Exactly. You see, all of us will come across our mortal material ends one way or another. Can't tell exactly what's going to happen with our souls as long as we don't manipulate them in any which way. They get sent to our deities, they get sent to our patrons for them to do what they will. Our bodies are going to be then given as energy to harness new life. And how it all goes.
It's really quite beautiful if you think about it.
Exactly. You see, when people think God of death, they think I'm the God, I enforce the God of undeath. It's not true. In fact, quite the opposite. Anything that manipulates, disrupts, and changes the cycle of life and death is something Null takes very, very seriously. And this motherfucker thinks he knows what death really is about.
Count
Just because
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, right? This motherfucker
does
he knows
look like. Sorry.
Yeah. He knows what's up. This motherfucker does not know what's up. And a little back to Marcus' character, but like this guy wants to not only manipulate the sanctity of death and how it falls into the flow of life. He wants to unleash that chaos into the rest of the world. And he thinks it's the best idea. Pompous, hubris, and destructive. I'm sorry, I think maybe if I'm a little passionate, I'm just imagining his head on the tip of my sword.
Let me tell you about this bitch.
Yes, pretty much. He went into that.
I can't handle with all these motherfucking death gods on this motherfucking
plane. Motherfucking material plane.
Count Marcus is turning into like those sassy black women you see in like salons already. They got the hair dry. Like, okay, let me tell you about this bitch.
Well, what I was going to say was Wayne Brady on Who's Line, and I'd like to thank this bitch right here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
So, yeah, and you guys see Marcus Marcus has been kind of calm and cool, raising his voice for like theatrical purposes, and he was never ever angry. You never saw this guy angry up until now, and this is like almost like the back of his hair just like glow, like tips of full-on necrotic anger coming out of him, like it got personal.
By the way, I would just like to point out, Polo, on your next roll, whatever it may be, you're going to get advantage because you mentioned Whose Lines Is It Anyway, and that's my favorite show of all time.
Oh, You gain inspiration.
No, not to inspiration advantage, but yeah.
That's true. That's true.
But sorry, just had to make that out there. Please continue.
I'm glad we, Davina. I'm so glad we were able to pull this off. I take it y'all came out of your end, okay?
Actually, we did. I wanted to talk to my crew about that, and Count Marcus, I really have nothing to hide from you either, because this is actually wonderful news. I hope that you all recall me saying that I wanted to convert most of the Valmaris keeps into orphanages for the children's servants that we couldn't find their homes. And I was actually able to get help from King Gahun, who's gonna actually provide people to renovate them so that they are kid friendly and will be sufficient homes for them.
Wow. That's impressive. That's amazing. And just out of context, does Marcus know about Davina's orphan state?
Probably not.
Okay. Not yet.
Questions like that's.
It rings a bell for him on a personal level, and not in a way he stated either. So they both have some stuff. May come out later, but
there's a lot going on inside.
Likewise, but we'll get to that.
There's a lot to unpack.
Oh yeah. What's up, Arios? Hi.
Arios?
You're poking.
What?
I'm watching you. Just
stay away from my woman.
Also, Arios has issues with being an orphan, but
yeah, that's why I wanted Arios to come, because I was like,
Did Arios really do the thing? Because I want to see if Marcus noticed.
Yeah. And Arios will do it just like out in the open.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's how we're gonna do this. Arios, I want you to roll an intimidation check.
Oh, that's not bad. All right, let me see what my modifier is. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Okay, that's not bad. 23.
Okay, Count Marcus, roll a charisma saving throw. The DC is 23. To see if you can be successfully...
This tiny little 5'2" guy.
This tiny little 5'2" air genasi of a twink is trying to essentially intimidate you to stay away from his woman.
You got this, Troy.
23 charisma saving throw?
23 charisma saving throw.
20.
Aw, damn it, Troy!
Okay. You don't feel that intimidated by Arios, but you do get the sense that while Arios is definitely not a threat to you, Arios is being kind of serious, and you just feel it best to kind of like.
Is there any sort of a parchment and pen in the room at all?
Yes, there is like a small office area in case people wanted to bring like their tomes to do any kind of work and such on scrolls.
I may be small, but I know where you're sleeping tonight, and I'm quiet and stealthy.
She is a rogue. He is a rogue.
Wait, can I do something about this?
Actually, if y'all excuse me one moment, I'm not gonna be far. Excuse me one moment. He actually steps out and starts writing something down.
Okay.
Oh no!
And Arios just ends up cracking out laughing because he was totally just joking about everything here, and it's absolutely hilarious to him.
You'll see. I got something.
Oh no.
Okay. I got something for you.
What do you have in script?
You'll see. I have to actually kind of sort of write it as y'all are.
While Count Marcus is kind of doing his own thing at the parchment desk, what are the rest of you guys doing?
Davina looks at Arios and is like, really? We were talking.
Just having fun with him. You gotta welcome him into the group.
I mean, that's true. And she just playfully nudges him.
Anyone else doing anything?
Not at the moment.
Logan just popped his head in out of nowhere from the window.
Do I have my jam yet?
Oh yes! By this time, there is a knock on the door, and this... who's gonna open the door?
I want to open the door.
Okay, never mind.
Eden, you raised your hand first. You open the door.
Sorry.
So Eden, you walk over and you open the door, and before you is a very long rolling table of fresh, steaming food. As well as a whole lot of booze.
I mean, it's ale. It's light booze.
It's ale. It's pretty standard. You've handled ale before.
Yeah. So don't go ham on it. It's only 8 pitchers, so I don't... Considering I think it's brunch or lunchtime or like dinner, I don't think we're not trying to get wasted.
So yeah, all of the food is here, as well as jam.
Jam!
Come on and slam.
Off the table and gosh, let me talk. Pick up the jam and I walk over to Michelle. Like, I believe this is yours.
Hey, cute. Did you know jam is my jam?
Oh my god.
This is my jam. This is my jam. Turn that shit off. This is my jam. Thank you, Bo Burnham.
I forgot all about him.
Yeah.
Count Marcus, are you ready? Whoa!
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
You know what? It's comedic effect. It works. It works perfectly.
What is happening?
Stop stressing out about it. Just let it happen. You fix it as you go. Don't let it stress you out. It works.
Oh, man.
It makes everything very funny, and it's comedic timing. Your microphone system thing has the perfect timing.
Right. Marcus, Troy's still kind of writing in notes, but Marcus comes back with a folded up two folded up pieces of paper, square folds, and holds out to Arios.
All right, Arios, do you take the paper?
Yes. Just kind of.
Not until one way or another I leave this room. Don't open it. Not until I'm gone.
Are you doing anything
slips
else?
Him into his pocket, and it's like.
Yep, that's it. Sorry about that. There we go.
All right.
I'm eating.
We're all brunching now. We're all chowing down.
All right, you all are having a very nice dinner.
Nicest.
I'm really not trying to laugh at like this, but like.
Well, because I have the software up here where I can control my mic's gain, and it's moving up automatically.
Yeah, that's so
weird. Wait, Evan, I know what it is.
What?
You have a ghost.
Maybe we do.
Oh, jeez.
You burned so much sage that I really doubt it.
Josh, why do I feel added by that? Because it's me, and I do.
Anywho. So you guys are having a very nice dinner. Why?
Your ghost is trying to play games with you.
I'll just burn sage in that room. It'll be fine.
Yes, please.
Kind of like the aura of the computer. You gotta sage that.
Okay.
I'll bring some holy water over to sprinkle it.
Yes, please. It's almost like it's detecting the louder.
The louder.
Oh my god, this is terrifying.
I can't. This is hilarious. Like,
Shut up!
It's just the comedic timing of you saying it's detecting the louder, and it just shoots off.
All of you shut up. We're almost done anyway with this session.
When I come there in July, I can perform like a mini exorcism in that room.
Please do, please do.
I'm bringing my holy water, my rosary, and just go.
The power of Christ.
Be sure to be dressed up as Bobby Singer when you're doing all this, so it all takes you seriously. I'm just saying.
We can make a TikTok out of it too.
The power of Christ propels you. Does it, Jay?
Does it really, Jay?
You know something? It's not that compelling.
Okay, anywho. Okay, I think I might have gotten it. Hello.
Hey,
Test,
hold on.
test,
Yes.
test,
Very
test,
good.
test. Okay, we're good.
Hello, Clarice.
Can all of you hear me? I'm going to talk just at this level of volume, because I think if it detects me going louder, it raises the gain.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but I'm going to be very careful with it now. Okay, here we go. So, Count Marcus and everyone, you are all finally having dinner together. What do you all discuss?
What the fuck do we do next, guys?
That is a very, very good question.
Cataracts. Language.
Hashtag Atarax can cuss now.
There are young ears here.
Well, fuck you, John.
Okay, they just look young, but
Hey, Arios, should Davina be concerned that you
Yes.
that? Because Carly is concerned that you have done that. Carly doesn't want to get arrested, so.
Arios is 28 years old.
Okay.
The Hennington says my ears are burning.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I
jeez.
hope you
So,
appreciated all of my highlighted posts in the chat. I just realized I've racked up a lot of channel points.
in any case,
Yes.
are you guys finally ever going to have your discussion about what was discussed when it comes to Malakon and the King?
Right now.
Davina, would you like to share with the class?
You did.
I thought I already did.
Yeah, and so did Marcus.
Yeah.
It's really now a point of like, okay, now we crossed our notes. What do we do with it?
What the fuck do we do next?
Would anybody like to share a plan with the class?
Does anybody have a plan to share with the class?
What if we... What if we just storm the palace?
Oh my god, Mistral, we are so insane.
Good luck in storm.
Really,
Castle.
I have a musical number prepared for this. It's called Palace Walls from Disney's Broadway Aladdin. I'm all ready to But yes, I mean, like, how do we go about creating a solution to all of our problems? That would be great. I've talked a lot, so someone else go now.
Arios is just like, how about we come up with a plan that, does not involve possible, suicidal.
High treason against the king, yeah. Preferably like Plan Z.
I mean, like maybe like if we want to enter, maybe like sneaking in rather than just like barging down.
I'm going to say
My
this.
performance level.
Yeah, that's true. Based on what you told us about that odd event that you all took through.
Yeah, we don't have to go through that again.
I will say this. I find the king more trustworthy than I find this Malakon character.
You don't think there's a way that this king is literally like completely oblivious to what Malakon's intentions are?
I don't think that's necessarily true. Based on everything I've read about the king and the fact that he was unopposed in the election, that's always rubbed me the wrong way.
I don't trust either of them.
I don't trust either of them either, but I'll say this. I think the king is more on the up and up than Malakon is.
Well, let me ask you, do you mistrust their sense of character? Do you mistrust their honesty, or do you mistrust their judgment?
In a way, I mistrust all three. And honestly, it sounds to me like Malakon may be a rat for the very enemies we've been fighting this whole time. I know that's a big jump, but the fact that if he worships this death god as strictly as you say, and the gods are as active as they've been lately, I think it's a good idea to keep the orb away from him as much as possible.
Imagine. I could definitely imagine. You guys have any place to keep safe to keep it? Some sort of depository to system?
I guess.
That's as good as any safe depository this city would have.
But the problem is that the Sanctum is now...
I would rather keep the orb with us.
It's probably for the best.
Because the orb has helped us out more than we've helped it.
And the fact that we've learned that the orb does have the ability to take away the black ooze means we finally have a weapon finally against this thing. Especially since Axel is no longer with us, or whatever. Is Axel still with us?
Yeah, Axel's still with us.
Where did Axel go?
Axel transformed.
Upon hearing his name, the fox pokes his head out of the backpack and sticks his tongue out at Polo.
I'm sorry, when Axel turned into a god, it threw me off. I didn't know what
Still
was
the same thing.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like I should like next time we get the opportunity that we should probably, maybe follow Malakon and find out where the heck he goes. Cause I would like to know where he goes. Cause if he goes somewhere outside of what the king knows he's doing, then that might give us a little hint as to if he's as shady as...
You're on to something, and to keep the safety, because I know you really want to sneak around. I know you do. I can feel it. I can sense it. But for the safety of your being, because I know at least one person strongly believes that you should stay alive. I know 100% that. That's Davina. We can use my unseen servant to essentially we just need to have an interaction with him again. We don't have to actually interact with him, just that he's in the presence in our space, my space. And then follow him. Follow him, and we can follow behind the unseen servant about 30 or 60 feet just to make sure we're at a safe distance for him not to detect us.
Can I mention something strange that I think is worth mentioning between our meeting with the king?
Go on.
Uh-huh.
When you mentioned the Balmarises and all their doings, he didn't seem to know about what the Balmarises actually did.
I think, based on a lot of people's reactions, and this is odd to me, that not a lot of nobles, or at least the ones that I was particularly, I guess, on good terms with, knew what they were doing. Or at least didn't want to know.
I suppose it is too small of a thing for the king to really have any knowledge of.
Because when we also talked to... I wrote down his name, and I spilled all of that tea, because I just couldn't keep my damn mouth shut. I think it was Arthuros something. The dude that I talked to when we first came here. And he, recognized
His brother is a son of a...
Yeah. He didn't seem to know about that either.
I suppose in the grand scheme of things, it's not very relevant, but it does tell me that the king probably, more than anything, he probably would have felt that it was safe to tell you that he knew what was going on with the Balmarises if he knew it.
Well, there's also the fact of, I will say many nobles would have knowledge of certain things. If they did not care for it, they would not speak about it, but they wouldn't speak up about it. And the same could go for the king, where he could have knowledge about it, but not care to partake in conversation about it with you guys in that moment. For it isn't that important in your conversation, nor do I think the king would want to bring up something that a dead person has done if he knows that Davina was a part of it at all. If my sentences are making sense at all.
Evan, would it be all right for me to do a perception check of the notes that I took? That might be relevant?
You can. What exactly is it that you are looking for, though?
I guess, honestly, what I would be looking for is the king's religious, leanings.
Okay. Yeah, you can definitely roll, because you're really looking at one thing and not a whole environment, roll an investigation check on your
investigation check. Alright. That's good, because it's 1 point bigger, so maybe that.
Alright.
10?
Unfortunately, all of the notes that you took never really said anything about the king himself, King Gahun, being particularly devout or religious in his own way. At best, it seems like the notes just suggest that he was at least aware of civilization's pantheon, but it never explicitly stated that he himself went to church or anything. Just that he seemed to at least be aware of their presence, and that's about it.
Damn.
I honestly feel like they, because of when we found out what they were doing, or when we saw them again, it was in kind of a seedier part of town, that they were really just doing deals with people that would be okay with that, if that makes any sense. Like the seedier nobles that maybe don't have as much of a conscience as the other ones do. But I can see why you would be weirded out by that, Pulo.
I just am trying to see where all this connects, and I can't find anything. The gods obviously want the orb destroyed. We know that for certain. Because the orb, for some reason, is the beginning of a new era of deities, or whatever it's supposed to be.
They're afraid of what they don't know. They probably don't know exactly what the orb is and just wants to get rid of it.
And obviously they're using the church as a way to get there. But where does that lead the king to make the Sanctum intersect with the Greyblades?
Wait, just a side question for Mr. DM. Would it be possible, and everybody else can weigh on this too, because I'm curious, can I send my unseen servant into the church to see what they do behind closed doors?
You can. However, considering the range of unseen servant, you would have at best, your chance to try to get any kind of evidence or information, you would have to be right outside the church itself, because the church itself is as big as Greyblade's headquarters. It's a
let me ask, does anybody here have familiars?
Not in that way, no.
Thanks.
Not in that way, no.
Thanks. Damn it. If we had like a Frumpkin world.
No, not with this character. Maybe
The problem is, the last time that we entered that church, the gods literally brought hell down on us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because the church is essentially right across the street from the Greyblades, correct?
Yep.
Yes. So if we just make it very casual, and like we're standing outside the Greyblades closer to the church, I could just sneak in. Like, I wouldn't, but the unseen servant would just...
There is an idea that the reason they attacked us is because we had the orb. Now,
That's also an idea.
if you didn't have the orb, theoretically, you might actually be able to get in there without being attacked.
Not
And what if That's a hypothetical that's very risky because we don't know how.
Arios, did you have something you wanted to add?
I also wasn't with the group when you guys went into the church the last time.
I will actually, as a DM, interject here. Arios is correct. The first time you guys went to the church and hell came down upon you, that was back when Sterling was on the team. Arios was not there at that time, so the church would not know about Arios.
Or Atarax.
Or Atarax. Atarax was there before either.
What if we send the two of them in? Again, this doesn't have to be the plan we do, but it's just an idea. Send the two of them in with my unseen servant, and they can do some sort of like trying to get info on their own of just like, getting to know the church. So like, oh, we're new in town, blah blah blah, XYZ, like see what information they can get while the unseen servant is like going through their dirty laundry.
I think that's interesting. I think that might actually work.
Because what happens if we find things in there that connect this new group of people to the dark entities that are invading everything?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards believing that it's not a direct connection, but I do believe that the Sanctum and what the gods are trying to do is somehow connected. Maybe not fully connected, but there's something there. There has to be.
Marcus, did you happen to find out what the name of the god that the Sanctum worship was?
No. The guy was that much of an asshole.
He didn't tell you.
No, you looked at me as if I either should have known or if their god was too good to be known. As if their god was like bigger than having a name.
Do you know?
Maybe. Or
you might actually be onto something there.
Or, here's a plan. We go back to the necromancers and try to get that information out of them. Because I would think if anyone in the Sanctum who knows who the god of death would be, it would be the necromancers.
Yeah. And if they have a false god that they're worshiping, at least there now we got some hard evidence.
So,
now we have hard evidence, we have motive, we have
a crazy theory.
Uh-huh.
What if this god of death that is not the god of death that Count Marcus, I'm presuming, worships?
It ain't.
What if it is like that same situation? What if they have their own new god of death?
Or...
Like, what if they have their own owlbear cub, but instead of it being green, it's like a deep dark purple.
I would think like Count Marcus's is like the Axel and theirs is the Beastmaster.
You gotta understand though.
Would be more what I'm wondering.
The big difference is not only in practice, but in connectivity. And he just kind of like does a finger thing.
Arios is shrouded in darkness.
Yeah. Yeah. So Marcus does a finger thing back and forth between him and Atarax. Like, at least mine has some relevance to other deities you have seen before.
I'll vouch for
Mine has evidence that it exists. It ain't just some bullshit to propel necromancy.
Eden,
sorry.
Fist bump with Count Marcus.
Rude. First off, as soon as like the mention of like another like owlbear or orb, I like snatch Axel out of the backpack and be like, "We need to talk about something. Can you please be in your true form right now?"
At that moment, the little fox in your arms shines brightly, and before all of you, and Count Marcus, you are seeing this for the very first time, before your very eyes, this little fox literally Pokemon evolves into a giant golden nine-tailed fox of golden fur and deep, deep blue eyes. And it's about the size of like a small horse just standing in the room.
Shit never gets old.
Can we offer you some food?
That's the reaction on the planet.
I mean, it's the first time he's actually seeing a god, I'm assuming. Like,
if you don't count the owlbear.
But the owlbear was not in full.
Yeah, but it's still technically a god.
The giant Ninetales
yeah.
walks over. Yeah, basically, it's either that or QB. The Ninetales is easier to say, honestly. The Ninetales walks up to you, Count Marcus, and just kind of leans in, sniffing your armor, the pendant, and in its own foxy way, it just kind of tilts its head and smiles at you before walking past you over to the table, putting his front paws on the table and dipping low in doing a quick roll here.
My foxy lady.
The bread,
his own foxy
the
way.
veggies.
Okay,
Is it the
so
bread, the veggies, the flatbread, the jelly, or the booze?
Okay, so with that roll,
The turkey.
Ninetales is dipping his nose into Davina's mug of ale and just starts taking sips out of it.
I mean, Davina wouldn't mind that.
All right, go for the liquor. Huh?
I don't drink alcohol anyway. You can have it.
Right.
With that being said, the Ninetales letting out a refreshed sigh, which sounds like a very feminine male-sounding sigh. Like it's a very light, high-pitched voice, though still obviously male. With taking its small drink, the Ninetales then sits down like a dog before you all on the floor and just simply looks to Marcus and goes, "What is it that you wish to know?"
See, the one thing that connects everyone in this room is it seems like our gods that we worship, our divine worships, they're all connected to each other. At least they know of each other. At least if they ain't related, they're acquainted. We came across somebody who proclaims themselves worshiping a true god of death. He holds his holy symbol. He's like, I know my heart of hearts is false, but at the very least, we need answers. At least confirmation, some sort of sense of direction.
And you are confident that the god that you worship is the true god of death?
And he popped the raven at will?
No, not at will. That time it popped out was just kind of in celebration of the monster party that you guys were kind of unintentionally summoning right there.
Yeah. Because for one thing, connected to Ishtar God of life. For another thing, he could have let me die long ago.
And back then, did you wish to die?
I don't think so. I didn't have any direction at all. I didn't know what I was wishing for.
You didn't wish to die, and thus it was so. And thus Null came to your side. With that, the Ninetales then just kind of addresses all of you and just goes, you follow a path that is very unknown, but should still be very clear for all of you. This being that your sanctum supposedly follows. What the hell is wrong with my audio?
You're doing great, man. You're doing great.
We're almost done.
Sorry, my music got very...
It's getting dramatic up in here.
I swear, the moment we're done with this, I'm doing a reset of my computer.
I bring my band along, and they've gotten a little zealous. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I brought special guest appearance Enya with me.
Who can say we're
As you were saying.
This being that the Sanctum supposedly worships, they believe it to be, in their eyes, the true god of death. But there is only one death in this world. While some people may worship death, some others may worship some facet of death. While some people worship life, other peoples worship some facet of life. Gods, they are connected, much like how rivers connect to an ocean, or how rain falls into the rivers, which then would go to an ocean. In the end, it's all water. What truly matters is, what do you do with that water? Do you fill it in a tiny bowl? Do you put it in a sieve, a large cauldron? Do you splash it on your face? Water is water, but it is you all, mortals, that give it purpose. And with that being said...
Well, can I ask?
Oh, yep, quickly. Good. Thank you for... You were close. You almost got me. But yeah, go on.
Before you dissipate, creature, I have one last question, and it can be as vague as you like, but I just need to know. Is the owlbear, the creature that we hold in that green orb, is it the only one on this plane?
As if in response, the owlbear transformed inside of the backpack and now sticks out his tiny little furry head out of Eden's backpack. Just kind of giving Eden like a little playful nudge on the back of his head. Like, it's very cute. The Ninetails looks over at the owlbear and just giving it a smile, and they just kind of like boop noses with each other. They're saying hello in an adorable animal way. The owlbear then turns back to Polo and then to you all and just simply says, "The owlbear is alone in more ways than you think." And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
All right.
I have theories. I have theories.
Theory was wrong.
Remember the note for next session, because I want to know what his note says.
Okay, but we have a plan. We do have a plan for next week. Arios, Atarax, and Mistral are going to go to the church, and the rest of us, are going to go visit the necromancers.
All right.
Chat.
Can we do these one at a time as a whole party? Because this whole splitting.
No, we can't. The whole point is that we'll be recognized by the church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the people there.
You know, that also being said, I would also like to point out Count Marcus has yet to meet the church as well, so they would not recognize him as well.
Well, remember that for next week, Count Marcus, and suggest it.
That is the only bit of metagaming I will allow you guys, just to kind of throw it out there that they have yet to meet Count Marcus, because that honestly actually should have been kind of obvious.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, guys, thank you so much for sticking with us despite all of the little technical difficulties. I don't know what demon has possessed my microphone to raise its volume like every time. But yes, as soon as we log off here,
demon.
As soon as we log off here, I am going to do a.
Hang on.
Emon.
Demon.
Demon. No, stop calling it. Stop calling it.
I'm just calling the demon. Anywho, guys, thank you so much for sticking with us. While it may not look optimal, I will still upload this episode to YouTube. There might be some graphical difficulties in like the first 30 minutes and maybe some audio difficulties throughout the entire thing. But
that's fine.
But just stick with it. Hopefully next stream will be going a lot better. I'll be back to my old software, which will hopefully be working a lot better after my computer refresh. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for for chapter 35 of Song of the Wilds, and we will see you all later.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.